let's do a cheers to the Sobeys Safeway Liquor Beer podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock to check in. Come on, let's go. It's the AM nasty big hello.
It's not static AM radio.
It's the cool bed red hot Nielson show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Mm, 6:05. You're tuned into the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric, Will Fraser, YouTube, Trev behind the monitors. We feeling good. It's a dance party Friday. Given the events of last night, I assume you're all on cloud nine this morning, and it's going to be a fun Friday morning. We got Beer of the Week coming up as well. We're going to dive into a little NFL playoff action, but of course, Oilers-Canucks will be taking precedence. The pound of flesh we've all gotten last night, and we were saying it yesterday and throughout the week. It had to have been on the scoreboard. There was a bit of rough stuff. There, you know, what Corey Perry was warming it out. I know we have Corey Perry's for Prime Minister in the nasty chat this morning. And a good morning, everybody watching on YouTube. If you are watching, hammer that thumbs up. This is the day for it. The Oilers hammering the Canucks, pasting the Canucks in the final meeting, final regular season, and probably the final meeting of the season.
Yeah.
This team, I don't believe, will be going anywhere, although they were given a bit of vote of confidence in Patrick Allvin earlier in the week. But let's be honest, without Thatcher Demko standing on his head now, I think the Emperor has no clothes in Vancouver, and you saw it last night. So we'll get to the game. We'll unpack it during this hour. It's a fun show, as mentioned. Oilers-Canucks, but also championship weekend in the NFL is knocking on the door, so we'll get to that as well. Will Fraser, Happy New Year.
And to you as well.
Because we haven't seen each other.
I know.
I think we're still able to do it.
Yeah.
So what's going on, man?
Not much.
Yeah, okay.
This wind is driving me crazy.
The wind, I know. And
wind.
Trev will have more on this in a bit. We'll bring him in a little later.
The wind is, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, and I think it did not help things over the last week in this town. I think I wasn't the only one that was being driven a little crazy.
Is there a windbag joke in here or some sort of that type of thing? Because I know we were talking off it. You're not going there? Okay, fair enough.
I'm not touching it.
No, that's good.
I'm just happy for everyone that this Canucks game happened as quickly as it did.
Yes.
That it was on the schedule the way that it was. I'm happy with the score. I'm happy with the way that they won. I'm happy that Corey Perry makes people happy. I don't know why there's not more Corey Perrys in the NHL. There's nothing inherently special about what he does,
especially at this age,
other than look at the time and pick his spots.
Well, is there a higher degree than black belt? Because I think he's obviously achieved the black belt.
Yeah, Grandmaster.
In the dark art. He's Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
We've Grandmastered Corey Perry into the dark art realm last night.
Yeah.
He is the Lord.
It's more chess than it is combat, right?
Great point. I've actually, confession,
Yeah.
I've been trying to learn the game.
Good.
I
Yeah.
have an app on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
It's interesting.
I'm sure that will give you as much depth as everything that you get off your phone does.
Well, at least I'm not doom scrolling, right?
Except about your chess matches.
Free chess app. Yeah, well, I do get into that a bit, yeah. There's a couple accounts, but we'll get into that later. 780-218-9999, of course, the Nielsen Show, with or without Dusty, who was away. High
Hockey
River,
dad.
I do believe. Yeah, he's...
Hockey dad.
I asked him what type of like parental, because some teams are a little more, key party, that type of thing in the room. Well, some get pretty
I've
wild.
heard of it. Yeah,
I don't think his team though is the one that kind of
hockey and curling out of town. Those are two things that it's like things can get weird, dude.
Sneaky off the rails, but we wish him well. We wish the family good luck, good spirits, and all that, and a safe trip down there. But he'll be back Monday. But the Nielsen Show presented by Southford Chevrolet. They got the Equinox, they got the Trax, they got the Traverse on now. Go see Daniel and the team in Fort Saskatchewan or online www.southfordchev.com. I know Dusty had a tweet last night about a nice
Justin tweeted
truck from up there. Well, and he also cashed out big. Draisaitl 2+ points, Arvidsson 1 point, Bouchard 1, and Oilers money line, and he likes to tweet out the Bugs Bunny meme on that as well. But the Southford Chevrolet, here it is. Yeah, if you southfordchev.com. They're great on the socials, so check them out and tell them EST sent you. 780-218-9999 is the number to text as well. Bones says, Will is the banana pepper on my Friday.
That could be good or bad.
I know you don't listen to the show because you don't care, but yesterday we got Dusty, so he's never had a banana pepper. So next week he's going to try one.
Okay.
We're going to bring one in.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it on a cracker with a...
Like, there's two things here that are pure Dustin. A, that he's never had something, because that may... 99% of things Dustin's never experienced. And the second is that he needs a full week to prepare himself to have something new.
It's the spice that gets...
Yeah. Like,
and I think he thinks it's a banana with pepper sprinkled on it.
We'll spend the drive all weekend worrying about it.
Salivating. Like the saliva's already getting a little hot.
Yeah.
780-218-9999. As mentioned, Paris Jewelers, coast to coast to coast. Check them out today as well online, parisjewelers.com, or in the big mall, West Edmonton Mall as well. Flexible payment options. Do not pay until 2026 on most collections there. So check out Paris Jewelers. Another text, Oil City Dynasty. If Corey Perry is socially liberal and fiscally conservative, he's got my vote. So maybe that's in Perry's future post, or maybe even during the twilight of his hockey career. You love that one, eh? Sailor says the Oilers have dismantled the Flames. It looks like now the Canucks after their playoff series wins. Gosh, it feels good to be an Oilers fan. Suck it, Canucks. That comes in from the Sailors. So, no, it's a bit of a victory lap this morning and in full value. I mean, they didn't just win a tight one. They lost. But the Saturday night loss, too. I mean, you're coming off that road trip that we were all talking about, 4 time zones and all this, and Hockey Night in Canada, it's a late one. But you get him in your own barn with all of this revenge. Connor McDavid watching on.
Right.
He's still alive.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, looking down on us. He would have loved that one last night, but he's still very much alive. He'll be back. But just, I mean, that's how you want to see it. Pumping them. I know the Canucks got a pair of goals, but really never in doubt last night. Yeah, listen, the points system in the NHL creates an illusion of parity. And because of that, we don't have a proper idea of the difference between teams. And so in this town, we're in a constant panic because we don't think that this team is as good as they actually are.
It's a long season.
And we're in a constant panic because we think the teams below them are better than they actually are. So stop looking at the points and just do this. This is what I do and have been doing for the last decade or so. Just look at wins and losses, not wins, losses, and overtime losses. Just wins and losses.
What about even the winning percentage?
And the Vancouver Canucks are 20-27. 20 wins and 27 losses.
That's 10 overtimes.
The Oilers are 30-18. There is no comparison between these squads. There is no worry that they're even like in the same ballpark. And so this Vancouver Canucks team that have a fantastic goalie who has major health issues.
Had a fantastic goalie.
No, like...
Well, but I'm just saying, right now he's not fantastic.
He's always had these health issues.
Sure.
And this has been a Canucks team that has been a roller coaster based upon one thing, the health of their goalie. If you look back at all of their seasons where they've overachieved and underachieved, you can directly relate it to the health of their goaltender. And so don't read too much into it. Yeah, they've got a Connor Garland who is a pretty good rat.
Hell of a rat.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a really good rat.
But you have the Grand Master here.
Right. And
Oilers have the Grand Master.
And if you're an Oilers fan, don't get upset that there's a Connor Garland. Get upset that you don't have a Connor Garland. Right?
Yes. We brought that up earlier in the week. He would look great on this team.
Not that you don't have someone to punch Connor Garland in the face.
Arvidsson is Garland light, as a few people were suggesting.
Darnell Nurse proved that they do have someone that'll punch him in the face.
But you don't want him to put those fists at risk.
So, like Corey Perry, once again, proving that this, to quote Pat Quinn, you fight dirt with dirt. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you don't try and get retribution. You target their player.
Penner's Pancake says, and little Petey was completely invisible. Did anyone even notice him? Petey from 4C, eh? Dumb and Dumber with the...
Yeah.
There's got to be something there,
a dead bird to a blind kid?
Elias Pettersson is a dead bird now, I think. That's,
Yeah, well,
Rick
he's a blind kid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But Pettersson's been a shell of himself since he signed a contract.
No, the Canucks are
last year.
The Canucks are in and JT Miller now is the next piece that will ultimately fall. The management midweek kind of coming out and saying it, then they lay an egg to the Sabres at home, and
I honestly, if I am a Canucks fan and worried about the worry that I have is I don't know how much damage JT Miller has done to that organization, and what I mean by that is, yes, you can trade him out, but I don't know if that fixes anything because he may have broken relationships so much.
This whole version is
that you may have to honestly gut that dressing room.
Yeah, the mold is, and then you got to go in and just do a chop job.
I don't know if the culture in that group is fixable.
Isn't it a great morning?
Right? Like, honestly, like you look at that team and Tocchet was the toast of the town last year.
Sure.
And now, how do you not look and go, maybe Tocchet's the problem because he allowed a JT Miller to ruin the culture of a
There's an old song, Kenny Rogers, no one to hold him, no one to fold him.
Yeah.
And maybe in Tocchet's case, he gambled a little too much on that roster.
Yeah.
Hey, he hit the jackpot last year.
I also think that there are coaches out there, and Tocchet, I think, probably falls into that group, that they've got a short shelf life. Like, they can come in and change a culture, but at a certain point, there's also a point, like there's a poison pill.
But you need to have a plan to post that. Yeah.
Right? Like,
and it would be great if an organization did bring a guy like that to fix it and say, okay, your job's done now. Sail on, son. And then you bring in the...
Now, they're not the same people, but they have the same sort of game plan. The Daryl Sutters, the Mike Babcocks, probably the Tocchet's. You can go down a list of guys that constantly are getting jobs in the NHL and are constantly getting fired. And unfortunately, it looks like Tocchet might be in that crew.
Yeah, you can't have the pest control guy or the repairman staying at your house.
Right.
Oh, you've done your job.
Right.
Yeah. Out of town scoreboard last night as well. The Golden Knights doubling up the Blues 4-2, which means still the Oilers a point back, if I'm not mistaken. Even games played between the two.
And almost
as we wake up this morning.
Records.
Yeah, and the Oilers have been, playing some great hockey, as we know, ever since, since you started doing the show here on a regular basis back in...
Since poor Craig Button said they weren't a playoff team.
We have the receipts, unfortunately. Yeah, that was a roller coaster time. Yeah, Oilers, though, 7-3 over their past 10. The Golden Knights 4-5-1, which means, yes, the Oilers 63 this morning, Vegas 64, even games played. You then have the Kings, who are 3 games back of both the Oilers and Golden Knights. They're sitting on 57 points, so that's kind of your Pacific look this morning. Elsewhere last night, as mentioned, Vegas over the Blues 4-2. Utah shutting out the Wild 4-0. And just kind of going over Western, the Sabres, who will be in town tomorrow afternoon, a matinee, 5-2 losers last night down Calgary against the Flames. So the Flames still making, and for the Canucks last night too, not only losing here at Edmonton, but with that Flames win, that doesn't go well with them either. So Boston shutting out Ottawa, Detroit doubling up Montreal 4-2, Rangers 6-1 victors over the Flyers, Ducks 5-1 at home against the Penguins. The Capitals shutting out the Kraken in Seattle 3-0, and the Preds getting past the Sharks by a score of 6-5. That is your NHL picture from last night. Let's get into a little morning after show here and dig a little deeper, peel back another layer of last night's 6-2 Oilers win. Once again, the last regular season and perhaps the last meeting of the season between these two. Who knows what happens? But your morning after show, Oilers 6-2 over the Canucks last night. Phrase, if you have a big moment that happened for you in terms of the result or just I'm going to go with when Corey Perry just totally goated Teddy Bluger and got him to drop his mitts, skated back to the bench, had a bit of a laugh, had a few spits. It was just that to me summed up the night. And I think you can pick from a collection of Corey Perry moments last night, whether it was taking Quinn Hughes down after that scrum. But I'm going to go with the goating Teddy Bluger to drop his gloves. Bluger ultimately gets a penalty on top. It was just, again, great terminology with the Grandmaster. That's what it was. It was a hell of an act.
Yeah. Listen, the term is playing with house money. And it feels like Corey Perry, since the day he entered the NHL, played like he was playing with house money. And what I mean by that is, this is a guy who has zero to prove to anyone. He's got the Stanley Cup. He's got the games played. He's got the goals. He's had the MVP caliber season. He has done everything. And so because of that, when a Teddy Bluger calls you out, you're playing with house money, right? Like, you have nothing to prove.
That vein on his forehead was going to pop.
You have nothing to prove to a Teddy Bluger. Yeah. And Teddy Bluger exists in a completely different universe where every day of his life in the NHL is about trying to prove something.
Sure.
Oh, I gotta do this. The anxiety that a Teddy Bluger plays with compared to the absolute absence of anxiety that Corey Perry plays with is just, it's a perfect distillation of two very different careers. And you saw it in that moment where Teddy Bluger he wants his moment. And you've got Corey Perry going, I don't owe you anything.
No.
I don't owe any of these players anything. I don't owe the fans anything. I don't owe the media anything. I'm Corey Perry. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And the freedom he must feel when he's on the ice. There's a reason he keeps playing, and it's because for him, it's a picnic out there.
It allows him to continue playing, yeah.
Right. Like, he enjoys himself. I don't know, outside of maybe Leon Draisaitl, if there's anyone who is having more fun on the ice than Corey Perry.
Ace 96 in the nasty chat says you can't win without a worm or a rat. And yes, that's
sure.
I don't mind having both. I would say have a worm and a rat. I mean, the more, again, you hate playing against them. You despise them. It makes for good copy or print, shall we say. But when they're on your side, man, it's a world of difference. They can tilt the table.
The TSN turning point, though, was Connor McDavid getting a 3-game suspension and then talking to the media about officiating. That's your TSN turning point.
Sid backed him up, too.
Sid
backed him up.
Because the Oilers got 4 power plays last night.
Sid the Kid.
And scored on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like, they as a team and as a superstar put the league on notice that their officiating is not up to standard. And then all of a sudden, they got a game where the officiating was up to standard. Like, if that's what it takes, you and I talked about this.
Well, you can also call it game management. The Canucks had no power plays last night.
If that's what it takes, I think.
Yeah, but it's more game management from the league, is it not? To balance it out now, you kind of got to.
Yes, and look at the shots totals.
Yeah.
There was only one team really challenging things last night, right? It's not like you're sitting there going, "Oh, the Canucks really got jobbed by the officials." They weren't in that game.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They didn't earn a call. The problem for the Oilers is that they have been consistently outpossessing the puck, outshooting the puck on all their opposition, and they're not getting the calls this year. And so they just sent a memo to the league.
2.5 lines, 2 sentences.
Well,
that's all it takes.
Yeah, that. But the memo was Connor McDavid talking to the media saying, "We've noticed, and could you improve this a little bit?" And lo and behold, That's exactly what happened the next game. Like it worked. If I was Connor McDavid and the Oilers, I would be taking a 3-game suspension every January.
Well, we talked about this too. It doesn't hurt anything. He's not hurt. Connor Garland didn't hurt him.
Hurt.
He's taking a week off here where you play. Yes, maybe people would have seen. And I know people drive. Hey, I was taking my son. We had this penciled in. We want to see Connor McDavid. Okay, things happen. But from an overall standpoint, you played the Capitals earlier in the week. You would have maybe liked to see us, but Draisaitl still played. You got 2 good goal scorers there. You have the Canucks here. Who cares, really? I mean, I know the whole grudge match thing, but in terms of talent, I mean, you don't need him to beat the Canucks. In fact, they lost with him on Saturday with it. Right. And then you got the Sabres on a Saturday afternoon. Right. So big deal, really, in the term of your opposition. Yeah, take a week off. Leon will be getting a week off during the Four Nations or whatever it is. Like he'll get some time to rest. This is great. This is what you... And as you said too, it's how did you kind of frame it before the show? You begin to drum up a reputation of, hey, that McDavid guy's got a bit of he's a little nutty.
It's the Chris Pronger effect.
Yes, that's
right. Chris Pronger made a career of randomly snapping and doing something atrocious. Right? It could be throwing an elbow. He stomped on Chris Simon's ankle with his skate. Like, do we forget just how crazy Chris Pronger was? And it's not because Chris Pronger is a crazy person. Yeah. Chris Pronger just understood that you want to create the idea that you might be.
At a random time. At any given time.
Random time. Yeah. Right? And so, if I'm Connor McDavid, I just, from now on, I go, I guess I'm going to play 79 games every year. I'm good with that.
Well, you've met all your personal...
Right.
You've done that. You've got the awards, you've got and all the rest of it. You'll add on to what you've already done. But yeah, you're right. I mean, at this stage of the career, maybe that's where you kind of transform into and just become this... And I think fans would be all over it. Yeah, Dark McDavid. I mean, we're all here for Dark McDavid, right?
Like the days of you having an unplayable hockey player who can throw punches on your roster are over. They get exposed. You lose more hockey games than you win if you dress a player like that. And so, your superstars need to learn that they need to establish their own buffer zone. And you do that by cross-checking a Connor Garland in the face. Like, it's horrible, but that's the joke sport that it is.
It's a violent sport.
Yes.
As much as we don't want to say it anymore, that's what it is. 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox is bumping as we continue on with the morning show here. The officiating was still bad last night, Will. That comes in from Nash. Renato says, great way of looking at it, Will. Connor McDavid is our rat, JCD780 says as well.
I would love it.
Sure.
I would absolutely
Dark
love
McDavid, baby.
Yeah.
Sith Lord. Like, come on. We don't need to be, it doesn't need to be this whole good boys club. Get a little bad in your game. Leon already has it. You know he has it.
Yes.
He's all over it. I like to have some sort of hybrid rat worm or worm rat, Tombstock says. I think the Simpsons did it, hey, with the pigeon rat.
Yes, that's right.
This is my pigeon rat. And it flies into the wall, slams down, and then runs into the thing. I'm here for a pigeon rat or rat worm, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into super stat of the night as well. I'm going 3 points each for Hyman and Draisaitl. Pickard had a 923. I know a lot of people clamoring for him to be the 1A. Let's be real. This is how they're deploying the goaltending, and that's fine. Skinner's been playing fine over the last little while. But a good number from Pickard last night. 3 points for the big dogs. Hyman with the lid and the lens. He's out of the bubble now. They were talking on the broadcast how they put the bubble helmet on the camera and walked around to show you how difficult it is breathing, and
because we don't know.
I've never I couldn't possibly understand how so now he's been unleashed now.
Yes.
And a little earlier than they said the doctors wanted. So good for him to find his game again, it looks like. And Draisaitl, I said 2 this week. The narrative is, well, you can't give Draisaitl too many awards because he plays with Connor McDavid. Well, this is the week that he captures the heart of the league. Correct?
That's right. Yeah,
he did it earlier in the season when Connor was out due to injury for pretty much almost the same time frame, maybe a little longer with that injury. I can't recall. But it's a time for him to step up, and I think he has been here. So Leon Draisaitl, again, 3 points last night, leading the way. Another stat as well was the Vinny Desharnais penalty minutes. Because we talked about the calls.
I was reading
Special Agent Vincent.
I was reading Ian McIntyre's piece. He covers the Canucks. And he goes, he's virtually unplayable at this point. And I'm just kind of like, he was virtually unplayable at a lot of points last year, too.
We didn't tell him.
Yeah.
Here, have this.
Did you see the Stanley Cup final?
Have this big man here, hey?
And I really like Desharnais. I think
he's a good person.
I think he's a guy that he can be on any roster and play 50 games a year. But he is not an everyday defenseman. He just isn't.
And especially against high-end talent when you're really taken to the
Against
woodshed.
Speed and stuff like that. Yeah. For me, the stat of the night would be Darnell Nurse's overall stat line.
Mm-hmm.
He was a +1 on the night. He played 22-19, 5 hits, 2 blocks, and 2 penalty minutes, and just a chef's kiss of a penalty, like two penalty minutes. Like, that's all that bench wanted to see was just Connor Garland get one right in the kisser. And that's what he got. So, Darnell Nurse just continues to have his best season ever. Right? Like
I mean, and again, you need a few spots without so you can go back and say, well, McDavid. No. Look at this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make the whole footprints in the sand. Right? That's what this is now.
That's when I was carrying you. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your 3 stars of the evening, Zach Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, and the Nuge, who was getting pretty feisty as well. You mentioned he's a Canuck killer in a certain way. Hey?
Like, there's something like we love to bemoan what happens to the Oilers, right? Like every time a former Oiler comes into town and scores on the Oilers, we treat it like that only happens to the Oilers.
Yes.
And anytime a kid from the Edmonton area, Northern Alberta,
how dare you play somewhere else? You have to play here, and
has a good game against the Oilers, we believe, oh God, why does this always happen to the Oilers? Well, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who grew up a Canucks fan, grew up in that area. He's made a pretty good career out of making people in the Lower Mainland really wish he played for the Canucks.
Absolutely.
Like,
he shows up.
He loves playing against the Canucks.
Yeah. He likes to get a little feisty. He had a goal and an assist last night, so he's the 3rd star of the evening. When it comes to the 4th star in 38th, I'm going Corey Perry again, just with the worminess and the rattiness that a game really screaming out for a guy like that. I know this roster does. We talk about all the time, talented, veteran, professional. I know Jordan Lee on Twitter always likes to joke it's a professional win, but the game isn't like that anymore where you call up some people they call up Josh Brown for this one. Well, no, you have the people there. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't like Darnell Nurse to be dropping the mitts every second game. In his position on the blue line, I think you don't need him hurting a fist or anything. But Corey Perry, a game that screams, oh, you have a Connor Garland, do you? And now you send Perry over the ropes. And he executed it last night. I mean, I don't have to go on with this. We all know. We all saw the game and saw the tape.
Yeah.
And you can all see the stills on Twitter or X this morning as well. Yeah. Pick any sort of scrum that he was involved in last night, and I chose to go with the Bluger one because I think that surmised it very well. He sat there. He looked around. Why are your mitts off? Bluger goes to the box. Perry goes to the bench and laughs and spits and stares at him. And I just think he was +3 last night. +3.
Goated poor Teddy Bluger.
Poor Teddy Bluger.
And then after doing that, after refusing to show up, as they would say,
yes,
then goes and just dirtbags their best player.
Yeah. So, Perry's my 4th star with a bullet last night. 38th. Do you want to go? Do you have anybody in mind that would take that crown? I mean, notably from the...
other than Thatcher Demko, who
sure.
is just what a husk of his former self.
He was looking a little confused at times as well with the puck zipping around in there. But, I mean, have your pick. I mentioned Desharnais.
Well, speaking of the local kid coming into town and scoring one against the Oilers, Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
Not a good night. Didn't even play 15 minutes, was a -2, 2 shots on goal, had 1 hit. Just invisible.
Yeah.
An invisible $5 million.
That's a good way of putting it, and especially given off the Nuge rant. I mean, it's the back.
They
and
make
forth
the same
there.
amount.
It's the back and forth. Yeah, so
they make the exact same amount of money. Think about that, Canuck fan. That is, and I really like Jake DeBrusk.
Oh no,
but the fact that the Oilers have a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins making what he does and doing what he
doing
does.
what he does and can do what he does.
That is just such a thumb in the eye to just about every other team.
No, have your say, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. It's a celebration Friday morning here as the Oilers get their pound of flesh on the scoreboard 6-2 and other places as well. We're bringing YouTube Trev here very quickly. We'll have a sports update from him. But Trevor, where were the nachos last night, man? I had a plate. I made a plate. We all said we were going to have nachos last night.
Oh, really?
And then we were going to take a picture on Twitter.
Pictures of your nachos.
Yeah. We're all going to make our own and see how it is. So I went out. I got some nachos, very, just the rounds, some shredded cheddar, the pickled jalapeno pepper, and some diced red onion. It was delicious. And a little salsa on the side.
Did
Dusty,
you do it under the broiler?
Put it in the oven, 250 to 300 for about
that's
10,
a low
15.
temp.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He got him nice where I wanted him. But Dusty was away. He was on a trip. But Trev, I can't lie when I'm saying I'm a little disappointed. Or did you just forget to take the picture?
No, I'm disappointed too, man. I feel bad. I saw the photo. I got all these notifications. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on right now? And
Phone's
then I'm
blowing
on
up.
this. My phone's blowing up. And then I'm on this nacho thread on Twitter, and I'm like, oh crap! And I totally spaced out. Like I forgot, man. And I felt so bad. And I just ate like a huge pizza.
A pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
A pie from BP's.
Pie for yourself.
Yeah.
What are you made of money?
Buffalo chicken.
Jeez
my
Louise,
gosh,
man.
It was so good. I will say those pizzas are a little pricey.
They make a good pie, though. They make a
Yes.
good pie.
Well, you get what you pay for, but it's expensive.
And the crust on this one is just exquisite. It's salty. They should
I know.
have this crust for all the pizzas. I will say that.
Oh,
But,
where's
then
the
all
myth?
the pizzas are going to cost that much.
I had this just great pizza, and then I get home, and then I get this notification. So I feel bad, man. I dropped the ball.
Well,
I'm sorry. I am. And I was like, I could make some nachos right now. I do have everything, but then I probably wouldn't eat them. So I didn't.
You don't wanna waste.
And I
No,
didn't want
you-
to take a photo and just not eat them. Right?
that'd be poor form. People do that
That'd
on
be-
social media, though. They
I
go
know.
walk in the woods. You don't even go for a walk. You
Yeah.
don't want to be that person. But
You guys ever done the grade school taco in a bag?
Yes.
I mean, I don't
You like
really-
taco in a bag?
I'm
I
actually
don't hate
surprised
it.
you don't buy like just the small Dorito bags and just live off of that.
To go with the full sized.
No.
Pound of ground beef.
Yeah, I go-
Boom, bam. Ahem, with a big wooden spoon.
And
you know?
a pound
lot
of
there.
cheese and
Yeah. You can do whatever you want there.
Man, you don't care about your heart, do you? Just
Let's do a sports update. We'll get your thoughts on the game coming back. This is the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser, YouTube Trev, keeping you up to date on everything and anything outside the Oilers and Canucks in the sporting realm. We'll be back with a little That Hurts coming up in hour 1, and Chris Johnston to lead off hour number 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
The Oilers get revenge with the 6-2 win over Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Oil will be back in action on Saturday for a matinee matchup against Ryan McLeod and the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drop for this one goes at 2 o'clock. 10 other games in the NHL last night, which saw the Canadiens fall to the Red Wings 4-2. The Bruins shut out the Senators 2-0. The Calgary Flames defeat the Sabres 5-2. Tonight in the NHL, just 4 games dot the schedule, which sees the Golden Knights take on the Stars, the Flyers head to New York to take on the Islanders, the Lightning visit the Blackhawks, and the Utah Hockey Club head north to play the Winnipeg Jets. In the association last night, the Raptors win a close one over the Hawks, 122-119. Scotty Barnes led the way with 25 points. The Raptors have now won 4 of their last 5 and are back on the court tomorrow for a rematch against the Hawks. Tip-off for this one goes at 5:30. And just 3 other games in the NBA tonight. The Cavs play the 76ers, the Trailblazers take on the Hornets, and the Pelicans face the Grizzlies. And to finish off in the NFL, just 2 games as it is the Final Four. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders visit Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Kickoff for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And the marquee matchup of the weekend sees Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going head-to-head on Sunday at 4 o'clock in what will be the 4th time these two face in the postseason. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. The sports update is brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers, and what better way than to give them a deal. Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for a 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your winter and spring renovation projects now.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, not tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. To Tussy and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it if it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some antics and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kids away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Back from Rappaport, Dragger Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the north. All about him giving present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
6:39, you are tuned into the Nielsen Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and on YouTube. If you are in the tube this morning, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It goes a long way. We're looking to get up to a high of -3 for today. That wind, I guess, according to our atmospheric avenger, Josh Clausen from CTV, will be sticking around a bit today. Gusty, he says, for Friday, but highs near zero throughout the weekend, and a bigger jump on the way, he says, for early next week. So we'll be looking forward to that. It's Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser, YouTube Trev. You heard him there on the Sports Update. We'll get his thoughts on last night's events as well down at Ice District, where the Oilers got their pound of flesh, skating to a 6-2 victory over the Canucks. The praise and adulation continues to fly in for Corey the Worm Perry. The straw that stirs the drink. And yes, a bit of a celebratory morning for him and the team as well, as Sans McDavid, they get the job done. They lose to the Canucks with McDavid in the lineup. They beat the Canucks without McDavid in the lineup. We jokingly said earlier in the week, maybe today would be a day for trade proposals. What could you get for one Connor McDavid? Just imagine the bag. I'm not advocating for it, but imagine the haul. Will, come on. You can't even compute what that might look like.
He is entering the final year of his deal before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Right now is where you maximize the return.
Can't wait till Brian Hayes gets a hold of this segment.
That would be something Dustin would do.
Entertain that and float it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great exercise.
Dustin, for the years that I worked with him, never actually ever wanted to win his hockey pools that he was in. Mm-hmm. He just wanted to panic. That's the only reason he was in it, was to find reasons to panic and blow stuff up.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos. We all love it.
Yeah.
We all love it. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Of course, you are texting for A&W today. $20 is the prize for text of the day, where you can get two breakfast sandwiches right now, bacon and eggers, sausage and eggers, or one of each for $6. So the deal is on right now. Text in to the Paris Jewelers inbox, and you could be awarded text of the day. Vincent had a rough night. That comes in, Ryan from SK.
Good Vincent drop, by the way.
Vincent. Hey, twins, yeah?
Yeah.
Normology says the Weasels, Vancouver got out-weaseled. May not get you to A&W, but maybe you can do something with Weasels, Rats, or or snakes or any of those other animals this morning. I think Tube Socks had a good one here where he wanted the invention of the rat worm, or the worm rat, as it were. But keep working on that, 780-218-9999. And, of course, we are coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio today. YouTube Trev comes in now. Trev, your thoughts on last night's game. We asked you about the nachos that didn't happen at your place, but you had a Boston Pizza. You were sitting there. You were saying, rubbing your hands gleefully. And following Saturday night's loss in Vancouver and a loss to the Capitals, which this team was on a bit of a 2-game slide here. It's nice to get back in the win column and the fashion they did, Trev.
Yes, it was actually perfect. And we talked about it yesterday. Like, what do they do? Do they, just go in there and start running them? But they're a veteran team. And I was like, I want them to play like a veteran team. And that's kind of what they did. And I also mentioned, if they're going to get into a fight, it's going to be Corey Perry, he's going to lead someone astray, and someone's going to drop his gloves, and he's going to pretend to. And that is exactly what happened. That's a veteran move, and it was so fun to see that. I loved it. I thought Corey Perry had just a hell of a game, and he's just a player that you want on your team, and I'm so happy he's on the Oilers. Like, it was just so satisfying. When there was that scrum there, I very seldom chuckle in a game these days. But, like, he's trying to grab someone, and he looks for, like, everyone, and all of a sudden he sees Quinn Hughes is kind of just doing his thing there. And he just goes and grabs him, just the glove to the face, brings him down.
Slam him on the ground.
Oh, like, I was laughing my butt off, Joe, when I saw that. So, yeah, that was awesome. And then, not only did they beat them, like, in that front, I feel like they beat them where it counts, and they just dominated the game. And every facet that you look at, just up and down the lineup, I think it was just a complete game for a lot of players. Adam Henrique was a lot more noticeable. Zach Hyman, he's really finding his stride right now.
The lens in the lid, baby. He's out of the bubble. Look out, NHL, right?
Absolutely. So it was just a solid game. Jeff Skinner had a few good looks, I'd say. Noah Philp as well. Didn't really bring him up, but he looked pretty good with the one set up there. And he's got, Derek Ryan was never going to make that play. So I'm happy they got some youth in the lineup, especially on the fourth line. And I didn't mind that. It's a fast fourth line. Jeff Skinner, Kasperi Kapanen also, he was wheeling yesterday. So just what I'm getting at, so many pros to look at from last night's game. It was awesome to watch. I had a lot of fun. And I was, the first 2 minutes in, I was like, I said there was going to be a lot tonight. I was feeling a lot, in the morning show, but it just felt like there was going to be nothing. And then they ended up scoring 6 goals. And I was like, so I was wrong in that. There was a lot more than what I was expecting. And I was just, it was an enjoyable game. I enjoyed it a lot. As a fan, oh yeah. Sign me up for 40 more of those.
You had the tissues out, but for
the
good reason.
Yes, lots of tissues out. Lots of tissues out.
Hey, it's a 6 o'clock hour. I'm give a conch. Give a conch to the last night, and you had a pizza. I had some nachos.
Yeah, here's a conch.
Well, I mean, it was an explosion of.
It was great. Pickard
Everybody
as well.
agrees. Yeah. Pickard as well. Yes.
It was awesome.
Yes.
Just so sound. Ty Emberson.
Did Vinny celebrate with Stewart following the game like they normally did? Wouldn't that be something? I was waiting for that. The Stewie Skins and Vincent celebration that they.
Yeah. I didn't see anything, but yeah, on Vinny. I know people got super annoyed for me just ripping him apart last year. I was never too fond of this guy.
Well, as a player and as a person, they're two different things. I think everybody kind of fell in love with the idea and the character of him.
Yes,
but yeah,
they loved it. But he found himself out of position so many times, and he's not really the fastest defenseman out there. And so, what does he do? He takes penalties, and that was on full display last night. So. I have a really close buddy of mine. He's just a diehard Canucks fan. I asked him ahead of the game on last Saturday, like, what's been going on with Vinny? He's like, dude, like, it's probably he's my least favorite player to watch. He is so irrelevant on the ice. Like, he just does nothing. Like, that's positive. And so, I don't know. It's he's kind of struggling, and you could see it last night for sure. But oh man, it was just a great game. Like, I loved it. And the power play. I will say this. There's one other thing on the power play. It wasn't going well at all against the Capitals. It was pretty tough, but Nugent Hopkins, he has his spot. You got Leon on his spot, but you got Nuge. He's usually on the left side there above the circle, and it wasn't working. But they shuffled him. They put him kind of below, on the different side of the ice there, and he's right kind of on the line, the goalie line. And I don't know, him and Leon had something cooking there. They were cycling. The Vancouver Canucks couldn't defend that at all. And they ended up capitalizing on a goal there. That's one thing I noticed. And I wouldn't mind seeing when McDavid's back, just put a Nuge there. Maybe they have a few.
Well, they switched up the entries too, because against Washington, they couldn't really get that damn thing in most of the time. And last night they were now again, maybe you can chalked it up to opposition as well. But it seems like a bit of a knob adjustment there proved well last night.
Yep.
Stanley and YYC, the Canucks released a statement about last night's game, and this is gonna lead into that hurts right now for James H. Brown injury lawyers. The Canucks organization is disappointed, and we share in our fans' frustration over the worm. Hughes got manhandled by him, and we support him through the healing process, and the organization and our fans look forward to him not having to deal with JT Miller and 11.6 mil PD anymore. That comes in from Stanley and YYC. So I don't mind taking a play off the whole statement release as long as you keep it to 2.5 lines and 2 sentences. But yeah, that hurts for James H. Brown injury lawyers. Check them out today, jameshbrown.com. If you've been hurt physically, emotionally, Canucks fans, if you're listening this morning, you might want to give Trent Brown and the team over there, James H. Brown, a call today. That hurts for Canucks fans last night. I think they're a very vocal bunch.
The whole season hurts.
The whole, sure, but a microcosm of sorts. You almost don't want to beat the Oilers last Saturday. It sets it all up. You know what I'm saying? You might if you're down, you're down. I mean,
well,
at
and they
least
almost
then
didn't. Let's remember the Canucks had a 3-0 lead. What
they jumped out
10 minutes into the game,
and it was a team on the end of a grueling road
and
trip. And
once again, the Oilers started to chip away, and a couple of missed calls allowed them to hang on to a 3-2 victory. But they were playing a team that is not mentally fragile as they are. Right? Canucks lose a very similar game, they might go into a 5-game slide. That's not who the Oilers are. That's not how they're built. And so, yeah, you're right. And also the Edmonton Oilers, as much as it upsets certain hockey fans, the Oilers understand what their identity is, and they are not a team that is going to go fight anybody.
No, nor should they. No,
like they're not going to try and win in the street. They're always going to try and win on the scoreboard. And that's how they get their revenge, and that's how they got their revenge last night.
But it hurts for the Canucks players, but especially I think for this fan base who were getting roasted last night all over Twitter and X. I know there's a few media members in town, not necessarily from your traditional MSM, but other sites and whatnot.
By the way, there's no such thing anymore.
Well,
right? Like when
corporate
when
media,
people are like
say.
mainstream, there's no such
corporate.
Thing. Yeah.
Where people have to be a little more. I can't wander out into those depths. Like there are a lot of people that will get chirped by a crazy fan online, and they'll feel like. But then there's other people who work and cover the team that'll just go right at it. Which again, that's the point of the website, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I get chirping.
Yeah, there was a mainstream media that was a business that was owned by shareholders, that had a code of conduct and had an editor, and the editor had an editor, and there was a stratification that doesn't exist anymore.
But you still get smacked if you go after somebody and say something online if you're working under a certain corporation.
Well, it depends on who you say it about.
Yes.
Like as long as the billionaire oligarch who owns your company agrees with your take, it's fair game. So there really isn't a mainstream media anymore.
No.
There is just trolls and then billionaire trolls.
Sure,
right?
yeah. We're all trolling to a degree. Yeah.
That's really all the media is these days.
But again, I think everybody loves in this market, especially over the last little while, going back to the postseason last year. I mean, the Flames, I was thinking too, there will always be a rivalry there. I get it. Geographically, this is your provincial, brother, sister, whatever you want to call it, families divided, that sort of thing. But the Canucks are kind of right there, and given their success over the last little while, or flirting with that, that's where they kind of pip the Flames, I believe, now in this run. And the fans are very, last year during that run, we were talking about how, God, they're toxic and all of this, and you had children in the streets of Vancouver saying just stuff that I wouldn't ever even think of, Will.
I would.
Camera. Yeah, I know you would. But so my point is,
I would, and I'd write it down and I'd give it to little kids for them to say.
You're the one passing out that candy, yeah. But it hurts for Canucks fans this morning because I tell you, this is it. It's over now. The regular season between these two teams is done. The Oilers ultimately get the last laugh, both on the scoreboard and in the physical department or realm. And if Oilers fans can just put their feet up this morning and really enjoy it, bask in the glory. Sabres in town tomorrow afternoon. I think the whole voodoo of the matinee game, usually that takes place out east when you're kind of dropping the puck at 10 Mountain or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But you would expect the Oilers to, again, without McDavid, handle a team that has no business and is really not flirting with anything this season. So,
what do you think is wrong with hockey culture that there's no such
Oh,
thing
how
as,
long do you have? I don't think we have a...
that there's no such thing as lovable losers. Like, I grew up a Cubs fan, and I will 100 admit this to you. When they won the World Series, there was a part of me.
The Sabres are a lovable loser. Are they not? They're in the East.
Okay.
They can't be in the same
Listen,
conference. Like,
listen, I'll take your word for it. But like, there was a part of me that actually regretted the World Series win because it meant that we weren't the lovable losers anymore. Like our identity, there was a part of our identity that died when we were successful. And like, I look at the Vancouver Canucks, and if their fan base wasn't as obnoxious as it is, they could very easily be the lovable losers, right? I don't know if there's a franchise that has come closer, like, to success and had Lucy pull the football away from them more than the Vancouver
and
Canucks.
the whole waving of the white flag.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I, as a Bills fan, am now on the precipice of this.
Right.
And it's a weird thing to struggle with because, again, usually everybody's second favorite team. Oh, yeah, the Bills. Oh, and their fans. Yeah, they're a little weird, but they're doing this and that. Well, yeah, now if you get that over the line, it all overnight becomes annoying to people.
Right.
And all of this. So, yes, and it's fun to dream, and it's fun to... The journey's always sometimes better than arriving because then you're there standing at the top, not knowing what to do
next?
with yourself.
What do we do now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chasing the happiness.
Yeah.
It's within.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we don't need to... God, I wish we could do a podcast about other
this
things.
success is very empty.
Who would have thought? But yes, there's something like that. I think lovable losers out there in the NHL, 780-218-9999.
Why does hockey not seem to have a lovable loser? Like,
Sabres would have to be it.
You just brought up the Bills. The Bills are the lovable losers
It's
of
funny,
the
the
NFL.
Sabres and the Bills are both in
Right.
Buffalo.
Like, so...
But the city of Buffalo is a lovable loser.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't get the sense that hockey fan just sits around and goes, shucks. Oh, I think most of us sit around and go, how are you still so bad, Sabres? Like,
Well,
how?
there's a formula to get better when you lose in these leagues, right?
Yeah.
It's right there for you. You can
Like,
take advantage of a draft.
As a Cubs fan, it's not like I sat there year after year watching former Cubs go and destroy it on other teams. It's not like I was sitting, like, if you're a Sabres fan, like, to watch what two of your former top picks are doing on other squads has gotta, that's a fate worse than death as a sports fan.
Well, and then tangling with, I mean, they're bringing those palm trees and stuff. Like, they're trying to have a little fun with it, and the organization's still like, no, we're gonna lose, and you're gonna sit there, and you're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
Like, they were trying to even
Right.
enjoy it,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Well, the fact that you had a general manager with the same owner of the football team, right? The guy owns both teams.
Yes.
That you had a general manager go out while the Bills are doing what they've been doing the last 3-4 years and say, it's a tough market. People don't want to play here. And just be like, I'm sorry, but do you know what the football team's been doing?
Well, you had your Allen and your Eichel.
right?
Like, you pissed it up.
Yes,
you pissed
exactly.
it away.
Like,
yeah.
the problem isn't that guys don't want to come here. It's that you can't seem to keep them here.
JCD780 says, I mean, odds were McDavid to Buffalo and we got him instead, LOL. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. But did that make them lovable or just pathetic?
You don't love something like that. I guess it is pathetic.
Yeah.
But it's a lottery, so you can't. It's not
Right.
like they
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to win it. Like,
Yeah.
they tried,
Well, no,
but I mean,
they tanked on
they
purpose.
tanked. I know, but there's no guarantee you're getting that anyways. It's a lottery. I could buy 1 billion lottery tickets and I could still not win.
Like, the Oilers were never lovable losers, right? When the Oilers were losing, the rest of the league loved it.
They're the original 7th team.
Right. Yeah, like, because they had their dynasty, because
Yes.
they'd had their success.
Yes.
They've earned no love from any other fan base.
Sure.
Nor should you want them to be loved. by
No.
any other fan base.
If you're in that realm, if you find like it's tough. Like, you were dyed in the wool Cubs, and you know
Yeah.
that's part of your but to become that.
But like, I could wear a Cubs hat into any stadium in Major League Baseball. Right? Like, 15 years ago, I could wear it in and there would not be a single fan.
People would want to shake your
would
hand,
complain.
and just, hey,
Right?
I'll sit with that guy.
You wear a Sox cap into half the buildings. a Red Sox cap into half the buildings in the
you're
American
getting,
League,
yeah,
it's
you're
getting
asking
ripped
for
off
trouble.
your head,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Same thing, like especially a Yankees cap, but like,
But in baseball, with how contracts work and everything, there are your haves and your have, and there are a lot of lovable. I mean, I love the Mariners. I pull for the Mariners, part and parcel because they are lovable losers.
but they're not lovable losers, right?
Well,
Like
I would say they are. I know Ken Griffey Jr., but
the 90s were really good to the Mariners, man.
really good, but not.
Sure.
The Cubs had some good.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody brought up who was their troll? Washington until they won, San Jose. The Sharks had some great regular season teams over the past, but they never got it over the line. So they're still a loser by a trophy case, or-
Okay, listen, I could be convinced. I've never gotten
different.
the sense that anyone like treats any other team than their own, like that the simple kid brother, right? Like, go easy. Like, you gotta talk a little slow. Yeah, exactly. Like, come on. Like, there's only so much this guy's capable of, right? Like, that's what it was being a Cubs fan. Like, when people are like, so who's your team? I'm a Cubs fan. They'd be like, oh, God bless you. Like, can I buy you a drink?
Yeah. Feather says, and I think this was brought up yesterday or the day before in the Hangout, but the Ottawa Senators. I think you can safely say, unless your grandpappy was a Habs or Leafs or whatever the case is, and I know Stan the Jets fan says Jets 1.0 were lovable losers, but the Senators, I think, as a Canadian, and if you're kind of rooting for a Canadian, I don't know, I don't put much importance in a Canadian team winning it already, but they're kind of the one where you're just kind of like, okay. You've never been mad at the Ottawa Senators.
I was going to say,
you've never loved the Ottawa Senators.
I think you're misinterpreting apathy for lovable loser.
We're going off this now. This is an offshoot of the exercise.
Yeah.
But I do think like they're not losers. But I think in the lovable loser too, there has to be a degree of apathy where you just don't care, in a way. Not the full definition.
And maybe I'm misinterpreting my life as a Cubs fan, but I always felt there was genuine affection for my team.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Nobody loves the Senators.
That's what, No. Yeah. Like that there was genuine affection for my team.
But to your original question, why is it not in hockey? I think this is maybe the closest you get. There's no affection, but there's the apathy. There's more apathy than love.
Oh, yeah, there's apathy.
Trev, do you have a lovable loser in your sports life, team or athlete? I mean, again, Vinny Desharnais is kind of getting...
Vinny Desharnais is. Absolutely.
Colby said could probably get Vinny back.
Yes.
Is that your non-sexy deadline ad on that blue line? 780-218-9999.
Oh God,
Yeah.
no,
No, let me throw this at you.
No.
Would you take him back if the Canucks paid 50%?
No.
I would. Absolutely, I would.
I would, and then I'd trade
He's
him
better
for
than
something.
Brown.
He's a mascot for crying out loud. Yeah. You stack him up.
Well, he's not the answer. Like he.
Oh,
no,
no.
You're not getting him
the
as an answer. You're getting him as a number 7 defenseman.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I have
Klingberg
time
plays a
for
little
it.
better than people expect, or like there could be a scenario.
Yeah, like I have Stetcher for sure.
Because they love
over
it,
him,
right?
and then I haven't seen Klingberg yet, but I imagine I'd have him over Desharnais.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So he's going to be like the 8th guy.
Yeah. He's going to be the in case of injury.
And then him and Stewie can do this,
Because
that's why.
Because I'll
press
say
box.
that, like you get him at half of what he makes. He's at that sort of
So
AHL
$1 million bucks
where you can bury him if you need to.
Yeah, because he's not $2 million bucks, but $1 million bucks just over.
Not only that, but I'd love for the Canucks to pay for half of it.
That'd be funny. Yeah, it would be more of a detriment on
That's
their
why you
end.
do it.
Yeah,
That's why you do it.
Screw whatever you
More
can
for-
do. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
that's
money.
exactly
yeah,
why you do it. Yep. Okay, you know what? You convinced me.
And still count $1 million
convinced.
against their cap.
Yes, that's why you do it.
like,
That's the
detriment on their
exercise
end.
here. Yeah. Feather says I would take Vinny. Okay, well, maybe we'll entertain that a bit more. We got to get going here. YouTube Trev's going to have a sports update here. On the other side, kicking off at hour number 2, Chris Johnston from TSN and The Athletic. We'll get an update on what's going on in his world, what he's got coming up, and a little talk on the Oilers-Canucks and more from around the hockey world. This is the Nielsen Show, presented by Southford Chevrolet. Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen and YouTube Trev here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, edmontonsportstalk.com.
The Oilers get revenge with the 6-2 win over Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Oilers will be back in action on Saturday for a matinee matchup against Ryan McLeod and the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drop for this one goes at 2 o'clock. 10 other games in the NHL last night, which saw the Canadiens fall to the Red Wings 4-2. The Bruins shut out the Senators, and the Calgary Flames defeat the Sabres 5-2. Tonight in the NHL, just 4 games dot the schedule, which sees the Golden Knights take on the Stars. The Flyers head to New York to take on the Islanders. The Lightning visit the Blackhawks, and the Utah Hockey Club head north to play the Winnipeg Jets. In the association last night, the Raptors win a close one over the Hawks, 122-119. Scotty Barnes led the way with 25 points. The Raptors have now won 4 of their last 5 and are back on the court tomorrow for a rematch against the Hawks. Tip-off for this one goes at 5:30. Just 3 games in the NBA tonight. The Cavs play the Sixers, the Trailblazers take on the Hornets, and the Pelicans face the Grizzlies. And to finish things off in the NFL, just 2 games as it is the Final Four. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders visit Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Kickoff for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And the marquee matchup of the weekend sees Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going head-to-head on Sunday at 4 o'clock in what will be the 4th time these two face each other in the postseason. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. I'm YouTube Trev. You're a little bit more up to date now.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
7:04, it is the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric, Will Fraser, YouTube Trev with you today, bringing you home on a Friday. Of course, the Hangout, 9 to 11 this morning. You got the Lock Shop as well coming up today. EST Afternoons, the Reed Wilkins Show. We got you all covered. And that leads into tomorrow, Hello Hockey with Gazzola and Belzy.
Hello, hockey.
Busy day for those boys as the Oilers again will be playing the Sabres as well. 2 o'clock, I do believe. 2 o'clock puck drop, I do believe, tomorrow, I think, is the... so we'll have the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows tomorrow afternoon. Hello, hockey. So we're right back to it tomorrow, but bathing and basking in the glory of that Oilers win over the Canucks last night down at Ice District 6-2. Edmonton takes it over Vancouver. The pound of flesh. I love pound of flesh. Whenever you can say that, what a term, hey? The pound. And you got it with those old-timey scales with the weight on the other end. You got to kind of... weight it up.
If anyone's ever seen the movie The Gentleman, it brings a whole new aspect.
Who's in that one?
Matthew McConaughey. He's a British gangster. It's a Guy Ritchie film. If you haven't seen it, it's brilliant.
We got Trev to watch Snatch the other day.
You finally watched it.
Finally, I
and he loved it.
It was awesome.
How do you not love it?
Yeah, it was pretty
Brad
cool.
Pitt is fantastic, isn't he?
Everyone was fantastic. Like,
yeah, you're right. Everyone's
some of the names.
Everyone's a 10.
There's so many one-liners. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is going on? Like,
Do you like Dax?
Yes. It was.
Hi,
it was
here for
so
the
good.
caravan.
Turkish. You made a pig will eat you. And Doug the Head. Hey, that's another one. What a name.
Yeah. Oh, it was so
Have you
good.
explored any other Guy Ritchie
films?
Not quite.
Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels.
I have them on my list.
Rock and Roller. Yeah.
Rock and
I have him on
Roller.
my
Man from Uncle.
Did he do Layer Cake?
No,
but that's a good one.
His producing partner directed Layer Cake.
Makes sense.
So if you ever watch Layer Cake and you're like, this feels like a Guy Ritchie film, it's because his best friend made it.
Daniel Craig. Yeah.
And Layer Cake's fantastic. But The Gentleman is just a pitch-perfect movie.
Maybe I have seen that one. I watched Free State of Jones about a couple months back with
How
McConaughey.
is that?
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
You kind of live it. You know, like you're in it.
Yeah, I every time I watch Matthew McConaughey, my brain is trying to interrupt and be like, that's Matthew McConaughey. That's Matthew McConaughey. That's Matthew. Like, I don't want to take him seriously, but he keeps taking himself so seriously. You have no choice but to believe the roles that he's in.
You grab him by the hand and he takes you where he goes.
Yeah.
780-218-9999 if you want to talk a little Guy Ritchie as well. I think we can be open for that on a Friday show here. God, it's back on Netflix for free, right?
Is it?
So I watched it like twice in a weekend there.
Oh, yeah, you can watch that every week.
It's so good. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Bone says The Gentleman on Netflix is pretty darn good. Yeah, so there. Okay, well, I can't wait. I think maybe I have. I just don't maybe recall. Chris is good. He's locked and loaded in the bullpen.
Hugh Grant in one of his greatest roles.
Hugh Grant?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey. Well, let's bring in TSN and the Athletics' Chris Johnston. Maybe he is a Guy Ritchie aficionado as well. We'll find out here. He is brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. Let Pro-Am help you with your team fundraiser with no-risk auction and raffle items. You can check them out in store for all the details in Edmonton, corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. I don't know how much of that convoy you picked up there, Chris, but Guy Ritchie films, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, The Gentleman. Are you at all familiar with the catalog, and do you like it?
I'm somewhat familiar with it, but I got to admit, I am the last person you want to be asking for anything cultural movie-wise. I watch a lot of sports, and I don't make a lot of time for entertainment, sadly. So I definitely saw Snatch. I remember that movie was really good, but I'm so lost when it comes to popular music or films or shows these days.
But you love McConaughey too, eh? Matthew McConaughey. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, I wish I was buddies with him.
That avocado tuna salad that he was making online there a couple weeks back is a dream. But let's get to the main course this morning, Chris, and everybody, as I kept saying, the pound of flesh that Oilers fans got last night, and not necessarily in the ring, I guess, in a roundabout way, but more so on the scoreboard, putting 6 past this Canucks team, really hammering home the point. I think that's just everything. The Oilers checking all the boxes last night. The big dogs coming out to play. Draisaitl and Hyman each with 3. Hyman looks good now that he's out of the bubble. But just your thoughts on that type of win. I guess a professional win from the Oilers and such that a guy like Corey Perry was Corey Perrying the Canucks all the way to the ice last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a professional win. I think it's an emotional win. And, when you go through the sort of season the Oilers have had, I think that these can be important kind of milestones along the way where, look, it's kind of sort of strange circumstances. Like I know Rick Tocchet was making jokes about the wanted posters and all that. Like I don't know how much like true animosity is there, but obviously, it's been a kind of a strange week. I know the Oilers weren't happy with the way McDavid was treated, probably by the league more than anything, but maybe I guess by Conor Garland in the last minute of the game on Saturday. And so, it's a chance to rise to the occasion without your star player, to emotionally engage in the game. Obviously, Corey Perry physically engaged in the game as well, and was setting the temperature. And so I do think it's a win that matters a little more than the 2 points in the standings, because you're kind of tested. And let's imagine an alternate universe where it didn't go that way. Let's say it was a 6-2 loss. I mean, what would the conversation be? What would how would that feel? And I think obviously Edmonton controlled, built the big lead, and got the little discussion there at the second intermission with Perry and JT Miller before going in. I mean, I just think it's one of those games everybody leaves the rink buzzing a little bit, and it's a long way from playoff hockey, but it's starting to ratchet up to the kind of emotion that's coming here as we get closer to the spring.
In sports management, patience is a virtue right up until the moment that it's not. Have we reached that with the Vancouver Canucks? Because they seem almost irreparably broken.
I'm a little loath to write them completely off, just because I've seen the Rangers rip off 10 games. They've got a point in a row,
right.
and
that was going to be my follow-up. Is that just a dressing room that's been threatened that JT Miller might be coming back?
I'm not sure what that is, but I mean, they felt in November and through December, really into January, irreparably broken. And now they're right in the thick, of course, of the playoff chase. And maybe they make the playoffs as most people would have expected they would at the start of the year. And maybe their dangerous team was just Erkin and Net. So I guess I'm not willing to go so far as to say the Canucks can't be saved this season, but I mean, it's hard to point to anything encouraging. They haven't won consecutive games since December 1st. I mean, right. We're almost in February. And they've obviously slid down the standings while putting together that stretch. They're dealing with a relentless drumbeat of conversation about key players potentially being traded, about things going on behind the scenes. I mean, none of it feels or looks good. And in the meantime, I think the Canucks are still having discussions, not only on JT Miller, but on Elias Pettersson. I mean, if I'm handicapping it, I still think the Miller trade is more likely for all kinds of reasons, starting with the fact he's an older player. It's probably a safer trade. I'll use air quotes there. It's still one that the Canucks could certainly lose and regret. But it feels like, how do you put the pieces back together? I mean, Demko hasn't been himself since returning from injury. I mean, I don't even know if we should have expected him to be. He missed a long time. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm not laying this on his shoulders, but it's just hard to find positives in that team. I mean, Quinn Hughes has had a great year on their blue line, and then it's hard to find the next player that you can be like, that player's performing up to what you'd expect or above what you'd expect, and certainly not among their stars. So it looks very bleak on this late January morning, but I'm holding off completely burying them because of what I've seen in New York.
What would be the latest, I guess, in kind of to pry what you listen to and the smoke signals you see when it comes to JT Miller? You mentioned Pettersson as well, because it's been an interesting week for the Canucks, kind of, following that win last Saturday, and Patrick Allvin coming up behind the mic and giving his showing his faith or professing his faith in the roster, and then they go out and lose to Buffalo at home, and then what happened last night. But we'll mention the Rangers. I mean, some talk about the Hurricanes, but any other latest developments when it comes to that Miller trade front, or as you mentioned as well, Elias Pettersson?
Well, with Miller, the issue, of course, is that he has the full no move clause, and it's believed he wants to go somewhere in the East in the U.S. So, I mean, you only have so many teams in that pool. And right now, as we're talking this morning, the only team that sort of fits that mold that I'm sure is quite invested in potentially getting JT Miller is the Rangers. Carolina has had discussions. I think New Jersey has thought about it, kicked tires a little bit. But I don't have any evidence or sources telling me that those teams are like all in on getting this done. Whereas the Rangers and Canucks have gone down the road at least twice now, pretty deep down the road in trade discussions, to where, I think that there was at least at points a feeling that there was maybe momentum towards a potential deal there. And so when you're only dealing with one team really, or one serious buyer in this case, like, I think it's hard to make a good trade if you're Vancouver. And so the decision then becomes, is this addition by subtraction? Is this a move we make that on paper, most people, like when we do our show next week, next Friday, we're like, oh my God, that's all they got for JT Miller? I mean, that's the kind of trade it sounds like right now, is that there's not really a great return out there for them. And so I think that that's where the Canucks have at least re-engaged a little bit with some teams on Pettersson, because, I think it's fair to say he would get a much bigger haul. He doesn't have any trade protection at all, so they can, there's no restrictions. There's 31 other teams theoretically the Canucks could deal him to. It's but it's also, man, it's a complicated trade. He makes $11.6 million. He's underperforming, and we do have a salary cap in the middle of the season. So I don't know how this resolves itself. It's taken a lot of twists and turns. But my sense is if the Miller deal happens here in the very near future, which I won't rule out, I think it's going to be an underwhelming return. I don't see the market for them to, they don't have four buyers that are all trying to outbid each other at the auction here. It seems like the Rangers are the only one truly at the table.
Is the Four Nations weighing down the trade market right now? Do you get a sense that GMs have trades in the pipes, they have moves they want to make, but everyone's kind of just waiting for that natural break in the schedule before they move their rosters around?
There's definitely an element of that. I mean, keep in mind, it's been since we had the Sochi Olympics all the way back in 2014 when the NHL last had this kind of break planned in the season. Like, it's not normal. It's kind of unusual. And, I think in addition to that, especially in the Eastern Conference, it's not clear truly how many sellers there are. Like, I don't think the market, I would say, in a broad way, has taken shape. I mean, I'm pretty confident saying, Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, teams like that are going to trade some players. Pittsburgh is one exception. The Penguins have made it known to other teams that they really don't have untouchables beyond the obvious guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. And so they're willing to do a lot with their roster. But, I just think that the market hasn't taken shape. And then when you have that break in February, it's what? I think it's about 11 days where there's no game scheduled in the league. So certainly there's not a lot of reason. If you're a cap team, you get more cap space the closer you make moves closer to the deadline. And so why would you make a trade just hypothetically on February 10th when you don't have a game scheduled for 12 days and you know it's going to impact your cap position? I think the way this sets up, I'm not saying there won't be a deal between now and the start of the Four Nations. I don't think there's going to be a lot of deals, but certainly I don't think there'll be any deals during the Four Nations tournament. So really what we're going to have is a 2-week sprint to the trade deadline after that Four Nations tournament ends, where there's just going to be an avalanche of activity. Like if I look back last year, we basically had a month of a trade deadline, I'll call it. You know, from a month into where the deadline hit, there was consistently moves. There were a lot of trades, and they didn't all wait to the last day. That's going to be compressed into 2 weeks this season. And so, I mean, it's going to be great fun, I think, for those that enjoy transactions and trades. And also the GMs, you know, their teams don't play for 10 or 11 days before that 2 weeks. So they've got a lot of time to sit around and have discussions with one another, size up the market, and make the decisions. So this is a weird year, and I think we're going to have an absolute sugar high of a deadline period that starts around February 22nd and runs through March 7th.
Well, maybe a pixie sticks issued by the league or something. I wanted to get to the league. You and Michael Russo had a piece as well on Gary Bettman, preparation for his eventual. Now, preparation, I mean, I don't know what timeline that suggests. I mean, we're all preparing for something in our life. We're all not going to be here for forever. But can you give us an idea what that timeline may look like as he kind of spoke and kind of maybe dropped the first few hints of perhaps his exit from the league?
Sure. Well, I mean, let's face it, Gary Bettman's 72, and while he still has a lot of energy, and certainly his bosses, which are the league owners, seem very happy with his performance. I don't think it's a shock to say he's not going to work forever at this point. What's interesting with this topic is Bettman's future or the timelines, the transition plan, like that's been I'd say it's an open industry sort of speculation point for at least the last 12 to 18 months. But anytime Gary's been asked about this, he's batted it away. Like he does not have any interest in publicly having this discussion, hinting at what it might be. And what happened is Craig Leopold, who's the Minnesota Wild owner, went on a podcast this week and basically said the only thing he's worried about the game right now is Gary retiring. And he's, a member of what's called the executive committee of the board of governors. So he's one of the sort of select owners that's part of a small, powerful group that knows what's going on with the league. And Craig let it slip that, not only is Bettman, leaving in the next couple of years, but they've started to plan for what that looks like. And those discussions have happened. The only problem is he didn't realize that Gary Bettman himself has never discussed this publicly. And so, it's one of these stories that's like, it's definitely newsy because it's the first tangible evidence we have of the planning going on behind the scenes. But Michael Russo, my colleague with The Athletic, had a chance to actually talk to Gary Bettman last night before we published that story. And Gary still is like trying to bat it away, still saying like, there's no specific date. I don't know what the truth is, if I'm being honest, but what this is evidence of is that Gary's tenure is at the highest levels of the NHL being discussed. It's not going to last, too much longer, I wouldn't think. I mean, certainly he's going to be there. There's a CBA negotiation due to start really in the next couple of weeks with the players. I think as a commissioner, Gary's going to want to complete that CBA and leave the league in good standing in terms of, the transition. But, it's Gary Bettman wants us to ignore the reality, I think, a little bit. He doesn't want this to be a public discussion, but this is only going to fan the flames.
Chris, outstanding stuff, man. A couple more quick ones for you. JCD780 in the Nasty Chat says, I want that hat. I know we've gone over that before, but if people are interested, I know a few of our listeners actually have ventured out and purchased one of those, but can you recap the hat for us?
Sure. It's a local Toronto company, sort of a husband and wife duo, small business. It's called North Standard Trading Post. You can find that online, and they do ship, I think, around the country. So wherever you are, I don't work for them or anything. I just went into their store one day and bought a hat, and I kept buying these hats because everyone likes them. And they also sell great, again, I don't work for them. I'm not getting a bump here, but they sell great clothes. Sure. They sell great clothes for kids. Like if there's any young people in your life, like they sell these really cute hoodies with the bear on it that I think are awesome, and I've gifted to a few young people in my life.
Love it. Chris, thanks very much for your time. Doubling up this week as well, so we appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend.
No problem. You didn't even ask me about McDavid. I guess that topic has been chewed through by this point.
We are so tired. I mean, I just, it's nice now that the Sabres tomorrow afternoon and then the Kraken Monday and then it's all over. But I mean, he did speak. If you wanted to share your thoughts on that, I mean, please go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, honestly, I think that the league went too far by a game at least. So, I have a podcast and I got in a big argument with my co-host about this, but I think it was an overreach by the league and he should be playing tomorrow. But alas, we'll move forward.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. If I'm Connor McDavid, I'm playing 79 games every season. Like,
why not have a week off?
I'm taking a 3-game suspension every year. Like, Chris Pronger made it a complete career out of random snap jobs, and it got him space. If I'm Connor McDavid, I think it does the same thing. Like, to have your opponent know, yeah, I can get under his skin, but he also might cross-check me in the teeth. I think in the long haul, it probably benefits Connor more than it hurts.
We're here for Dark McDavid, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you might see more of it because I think this really rattled him to his core. Like, he played it, to me, he did everything right in front of the cameras, but I think that this really bothered him on a level he didn't reveal publicly because there's no reason for him to. But the proof will be in the pudding with what we see on the ice, not this next week, but over the next couple of years.
Great stuff. Chris Johnston, The Athletic and TSN. Again, have a great weekend, man. Enjoy. Hey, you got picks too? AFC, NFC Championship? Who you got advancing to the Super Bowl there?
I am agonizing over this because I'm potentially in the money in a picks pool, and I'm usually terrible. But I've got Buffalo this weekend, and as much as it pains me, I've got the Eagles in the NFC game.
Those dirty birds. All right, Chris. Well,
I want to believe in the Commanders. I find like their compelling story. I'm surprised they're even here, but I just think going into Philly and winning that game is going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm a Bears fan, so Washington murders my soul. Watching their quarterback do what he's doing is killing me. So
I'm a Cowboys fan, so saying anything nice about the Eagles, like I'm in purgatory now. Like I'm gonna have to go for a shower or something.
Thanks, Chris. Have enjoy the games and good luck in the pool.
All right, thanks, guys.
Chris Johnston, TSN and The Athletic. We appreciate his time this week as well, doubling things up. And once again, if you wanted that cap, I know a few listeners have reached out and is it Tube Socks, I think? Could be right. It was Steven. Yeah, rewind the tape there. He's got the website again. Doesn't work for them. Wanted to lay that out. But yeah, what are you pulling away from Chris? Anything in particular? I mean, the Bettman stuff, we're all preparing for something in our life. I mean, you're always...
Yeah, I'm just...
The fact that it's kind of mentioned, I guess, even at brief is
what I would like to know, especially as they are an expanding league, as they bring in new ownership groups from new markets, are they a steady as she goes, like with their future, or do they want a visionary?
Yeah,
that's the story for me. Like, is it just we're getting Bill Daly up to speed, like,
or a lawyer from a different firm,
right? But like, do they just want Gary Bettman Part 2?
Yeah,
or do they want somebody with a vision for Europe? Or, you know what I mean?
Do you think hockey's arrived there yet in the state it's in?
Listen, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think the owners of sports teams in North America care about the health of their league. And what I mean by that is they don't own their teams to make money. Right? They own their teams because once you own a yacht,
that's a status.
Once you have 1,000 acres of Montana ranch land, you know what I mean? Once you have all of that, what's next? It's a sports franchise. It is, like you said, it gets you into parties that you couldn't get into if you didn't own it. Like, that's the reason why you own these teams.
Ottawa Senators come right this way.
Right, exactly. Like, and there are exceptions. Obviously, Green Bay Packers would be an exception to that. But for the most part, that's why owners own their teams. And so I'll be surprised if they hire a visionary who wants to grow the game, professionalize it, expand it across borders. I know as a fan, that's what we would like to see. Like, you would love to see an Oilers versus the Copenhagen Crushers, right?
Champions League
in 20 years from now. That you'd love to see something like that. I just don't think that that's what the owners want. I think the owners they want to have their parties. They want to hang out together. They want to go to their board of governors.
Big cigars.
Yeah, and golf with each other. That's what I think is probably the most likely. But they could surprise me. I'm not above being surprised on this. And if that's the case, it'd be really interesting to see who they go out and get.
RCN, you probably know him from the old place there. Old
Sure.
RCN still kicking around. He says in the Nasty Chat article today on the culture of video games and edibles amongst today's players, as opposed to the old ways of boozing and womanizing all night, every night.
Yeah.
It is a different hockey, but it's still kind of at the root.
Yeah.
The same run, the same.
Yeah.
The players are different. The whole upper strata.
Yeah, and don't take the COVID of it all out of the equation, right? Like, these are guys that literally spent a year of their life in a bubble, not a figurative, like an actual bubble. And so they learned these habits of, well, we don't go out because you can't go out.
Sure.
And so we just stay in and we play video games and
have a gummy.
Yeah, listen, if anyone has gone for like because I'm 47, I can remember when the only option was alcohol for a good time with friends. And now I am someone who uses edibles, and the difference it makes in your life is phenomenal. Like, the first time you have
phenomenally good.
Yeah, the first time you have a great night with edibles and then wake up the next day paying no price. Like, there is no price paid. Like, the guy who wakes up and goes, I think I'm a little hungover. All he means is he's a little foggy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you don't want to die.
And listen, that morning fog sometimes is kind of
right. Like,
enjoyable.
Like, you're not getting a bathtub full of ice water and dunking yourself in it in hopes that you're not going to throw up by moving.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, I'm sure that the modern athlete, especially in Canada, is loving life by being able to not get in trouble because they don't go out. Right?
Well, and it's not illegal. Pretty much.
And they do an edible, and then they're back at practice the next day,
feeling great
at
and chipper
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. And so when the coach decides to bag skate you, you're not wishing you were dead. Like, the profound change from athletes from just 15 years ago to what they are now. I'm glad that there's an article on it because it's an undertold story.
There's got to be somebody out there that still huffs a pack a day, though. Like a young athlete that's, hey, what are you doing? I'm smoking.
Andre Kovalenko's kid is playing for Colorado.
He's got to have a heater the odd time. Hey, by the bus.
He grew up with a dad who smoked 2 packs a day while he played for the Oilers.
Bring it back. I know
when he played for the Oilers, he would have smokes in between the periods.
Yeah.
And at that point, smoking had been banned in arenas. So he literally had to go outside and smoke in between periods.
J-Mo had CFL stories of smoking between quarters and halftime coming out of his you-know-what in the hangout the other day. Hernan and I want a station pack here of Demoriers and just leave it open. And if you show up, you want one?
Yeah.
Smoke. You don't have to be regular. You can just have a taste.
Actually, what I want is just Virginia Slims.
Okay, we'll keep that into account when we're discussing brands.
Whatever, like known lady cigarettes. That's what I want.
You'll bring in your big filter.
Filter that much. Nicotine that much. Yeah.
On that note, Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week coming up at around 8:30 this morning. So be by your phones for that. We'll be giving away $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Real quickly, Coolbet Canada hotline of the day. Our betting partners here, Coolbet. We've already talked about we're taking the Road Dogs for AFC and NFC. The spread now.
You mean the Road Dags?
Turkish,
right, Trev?
Yeah. He gets it.
Road Dags.
Bills are +2 right now, and the Commanders +6. We're still standing by that. But go through Coolbet once again. Touchdown props, all that good stuff up there for both the Bills, Chiefs, and Commanders, Eagles. In a full night of NHL, obviously tomorrow too, and the Oilers back at it at 2 in the afternoon, so you can get up there and place a little money on the Oilers. But are you riding with that then? Or do you like the Road Dogs? Doing picks is so like, oh, who's your pick? +2, +6. Will you go with the Bills and the Commanders on that, or are you feeling a little just to cover?
No, right? The Kansas City Chiefs they're the heavyweight champion.
Yep.
And the only way you beat a heavyweight champion is by knocking them out. Yep. And I won't vote for it until I see it with my own eyes.
The 6 though with the Eagles, too much. I mean, not necessarily picking the Eagles or Commanders to win, but do you think?
I actually think that's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Commanders. Yeah. But do you like the Eagles to win, though? Yeah. Coolbet.com is where you can go.
Unfortunately, like that's the least sexy of your Super Bowl pick. Like, if you could have a Super Bowl week where it was the rookie and then the Bills, that's a dream.
Well, that's what everybody wants. These two franchises right now we're getting better than livable losers. Everybody hates the Eagles and the Chiefs right now. And both
do people hate the Chiefs?
With the whole Taylor Swift stuff and everything, and Kelsey?
I
think there's a hatred out there.
I think we're exhausted by it because you get exhausted by greatness.
But everybody hates exhaustion.
Yeah.
So you're right. Maybe it doesn't translate directly to the Chiefs, but
yeah.
I think people have clearly had enough from the Flyers that we see.
Like, you can love prime rib, but if you have prime rib every meal for 2 weeks, you're gonna learn to hate it. And that's what the Chiefs are.
Yes. I don't even really like prime rib in most places. It's coming out medium rare today. Yeah, well, how else is it supposed to come out?
You know what?
Why do you have to tell me
promised no hot takes today. But that's a
should have won
scorcher.
yesterday. Hey, Trev, do you think so? I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Like, Dusty's in the nasty chat right now. So
Is
I
he?
don't wanna, but when I looked over at the nasty chat after yesterday's, I saw LT, one Dusty, LT. Like, I think you got the nasties vote.
Yeah, safe to say Walking Gage was managing the game.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what that was. I didn't get a single
let's be
comment
real.
in the nasty chat.
Well,
So it was between you two, but I think I'll side with you.
you were the
on this
Will
one.
Fraser of hot takes.
Yeah.
Because you loved that segment.
I hated hot takes.
Oh, really?
I still hate hot takes. Yeah.
It's coming around. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the first few months was tough, like trying to think of things, and then like
I honestly
That's-
think Dustin is a hot takes genius.
Oh, he's a machine.
He's a genius, and you're the Joker. You're the Joker to his Batman when it comes to hot takes.
We have a handsome man draft next Friday in the Hangout.
Yeah, you're an agent of chaos.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried might be popping up in that one. I could get relegated. We'll see. Okay, back on track here. Coolbet.com once again. All of the props and everything else for the can't wait till Super Bowl when we can start betting on the gum color that the anthem singer will be chewing prior to the actual anthem and the Gatorades and all that. That's where I need to be taken. But until then, championship weekend. You remember Championship Weekend quite well that we used to do it back at the old place. It's a great Sunday. Can't wait. Once again, though, ride with Coolbet. Coolbet.com.
Where are you?
Is where you can go. I'll be at home, baby.
Oh, really?
We're doing a
Okay.
Super Bowl party at Centric Casino Sports Bar and
All right.
Lounge.
All right.
And the deals are outstanding for that. Once again, if you haven't yet, book a table for that. You don't want to miss out on this party. It's one of the big ones that we have here at EST. Last year was just a kaleidoscope of fun. Book a room.
I have a group of friends that I used to drag with me to AFC NFC Sunday.
Yeah.
And we still reminisce about it, but I don't know if any of us are like, I wish we could still do it.
No.
Like,
No, it existed in its time, and you package it away.
We're happy that it happened.
It's in the Rubbermaid
but
bin
we're like,
in the storage.
We're too old for that now.
Well, Dusty would take the Monday off. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. It was
Dusty
it
would
was his stat holiday.
Dusty would take the second game off.
God, Shane Clausing won that 50-50 and kept the money or something for himself.
Dustin took a live microphone into the bathroom one Sunday.
I love this tell-all.
Like-
Yeah.
And did his business with it just being pumped.
Well, do you remember the windshield story?
through the entire South Brew House, the Ellerslie Road,
The Ellerslie,
big Ellerslie
If
Road.
those walls could talk, hey?
They did because they had speakers with the guy with the microphone. Like, he just got gooned.
Well, Boom was up. They're all up.
I know.
They're all here.
They
the,
would all
the stars.
roll in,
Yeah.
and Patty was no help.
Patty?
Speaking
influence.
of
Great
an
influence.
agent of chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's get to a sports update here from YouTube Trev for Park Mazda. He'll get you up to date. It is the Nielsen Show without Dusty, but it's nice to see him in the nasty chat. Enjoy High River. Good luck with the tournament. And try to check out that family restaurant there with the burgers and the passes and stuff. Real nice. You don't even have to reserve. The Nielsen Show, Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser, presented by Southport Chevrolet here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, edmontonsportstalk.com.
The Oilers get revenge with the 6-2 win over the Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Oil will be back in action on Saturday for a matinee matchup against Ryan McLeod and the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drop for this one goes at 2 o'clock. 10 other games in the NHL last night, which saw the Canadiens fall to the Red Wings 4-2. The Bruins shut out the Senators 2-0. And the Calgary Flames defeat the Sabres 5-2 is the score. Tonight in the NHL, just 4 games. I thought the schedule would seize the Golden Knights take on the Stars. The Flyers head to New York to take on the Islanders. The Lightning visit the Blackhawks. And the Utah Hockey Club head north to play the Winnipeg Jets. In the association last night, the Raptors win a close one over the Hawks, 122-119. Scotty Barnes led the way with 25 points. The Raptors have now won 4 of their last 5 and are back on the court tomorrow for a rematch against the Hawks. Tip-off for this one goes at 5:30. Just 3 games in the NBA tonight. The Cavs are set to play the 76ers. The Trailblazers take on the Hornets, and the Pelicans will face the Grizzlies. To finish off with the NFL, just 2 games as it is the Final Four. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders visit Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Kickoff for this one goes at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And the marquee matchup of the weekend sees Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going head-to-head on a Sunday at 4 o'clock in what will be the 4th time these two face in the postseason. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. The sports update is brought to you by the fine folks at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. Mitch has a cigarette for every vehicle he sells.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. If it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some antics and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macaroon, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about a game in person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:40, it is the Nielson Show here on Edmonton Sports Talk, streaming on iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and as well on YouTube. If you are watching this morning, hit that thumbs up. We are steadily approaching 200. Oh, so close there. We'll be getting to that just before we get out of the fan zone here shortly. But
Fan zone.
Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen, who's away in high level on a hockey tournament. So if you are down there listening, try to find the guy, and if you Easter egg hunt and take a picture with him, and you can say, "Yeah, I found Dusty down there." But Lieutenant Eric, YouTube, Trev as well, keeping you updated on the sports.
He doesn't blend in. Like, it's not a hard.
Oh, he's a mountain of a man.
Yeah.
But not a threatening. It's
No.
not like the mountain from Game of Thrones. Like that type of thing.
Well, think mountain from Game of Thrones, but you just want to give him a hug.
Exactly. Yeah. A hill, a big hill.
Yeah.
We are presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot today. www.southfortchevrolet.com, or go to visit them in the flat. It's a great dealership. It's a nice, cozy
He's
dealership.
Hodor.
Great
That's
staff.
what he is.
Hold the door.
Yeah.
Shane Clausing on cue in the nasty chat. Fellas, that 50-50 win at the South Brew was the best night of my life. A $2 ticket turned into $500. But did he not get harangued for that? Because he didn't you're not supposed to, the staff ain't supposed to win, Shane.
Yes, exactly.
You got to give that away or something like that. It was kind of a weird look.
You're supposed to ring the bell and buy a round for the bar.
No, he straight to the pocket. Yeah. Christmas shopping's done for the for next year. We are coming to you live as well from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Text in 780-218-9999. And you might want to get your phones out and text in on this one because I've got we will get it in the fan zone right now, but the Paris Jules inbox for 780-218-9999. What I want to get in the fan zone is we're all Riverhawks fans here in the city. Love that ball team. Love going down to Remax. Not much better ways.
But I got a ball team coming my own way. So
this is what I was getting to here. Yep. And you've seen the news here recently, hey? What happened yesterday. And Will Fraser is talking about the Edmonton Prospects. Now, the Edmonton Prospects, they used to play downtown. I remember I tossed out the opening pitch down there. It was one night they had me. I got it over. I was from the mound. They offered me a little closer. I said, no, I'll go up the mound. Went to the mound, got it over the plate. It was a bit of a change-up, but it was a strike.
Yeah.
But the Prospects have since been
mothballed.
Yes, they went out to Sherwood Park. They've been playing out there. Still proud members of the WCBL. But I think this franchise now have opened a few windows and doors, and the air is. You do that during the winter too. Hey, it's very nice for the air circulation in the house.
Well, you can't do it lately because everything will get blown off the walls.
It depends on the side of the.
Yeah.
So they're building a new ballpark out in Spruce Grove.
It looks gorgeous,
and they're trucking along in that puppy. In the mock-ups that I saw, I mean that's This is going to be a place to go. So
the outfield faces an evergreen forest.
Okay,
it's talking with my peeps in the Parkland County region. The idea of summer nights at that ballpark, outside of the infestation of mosquitoes, is going to be. It's going to be heaven.
And you're going to have some things attached to it. It's not just going to be a baseball diamond. You're going to have, other things such as that. So again, I think there's no such thing as too many ball teams when it comes to summer. Summer's quick and fast here and as much ways to enjoy it. I am. So I get the beauty of both of these, really.
So it's actually a quicker trip, an easier trip for you to come out.
I am either going to bike or walk out to a game this summer.
Yeah.
I've already made up my mind on this. But the Prospects, long story short, they're rebranding. They're and that's, again, new park, new place. Why not have a new face?
Yeah.
So they're going with, and they've been taking fan submissions, shall we say, over the course of the last little while. They were having a bit of a sale too. I picked up a little discounted merch from them, which was real nice. But yesterday, here they are. They tweet out on Instagram as well, Edmonton Prospects, EDM Prospects. 5 submissions for the new team name. Vote for your favorite. The voting is on now. You can vote at nameyourteam.net. The options, have you heard the options yet?
Give them to me.
And it doesn't help that we don't know if they'll be called Spruce Grove or Edmonton. I don't know, or
Parkland, I think, is what they're...
Parkland is what they're going to...
That's the...
Because that does make a difference, right?
That's the original... word that I heard. Now that might change. Spruce Grove's a pretty big city.
Yeah. And Trev, let me know if Herm Edwards is dialing in and we'll get to him. Yeah. We'll get to Herm Edwards in a couple of minutes here for the NFL action. But this is the Fan Zone. It's brought to you by fansfirst.ca. If you want tickets, if you're looking to go to the Sabres game tomorrow and you want a little bit of a discount or find a little bit of a no-fee plan, the Fan Zone. Fansfirst.ca. By fans, for fans, no fees. Get your Oilers tickets all season long. Fansfirst.ca. But the options are for that new team out in Spruce Grove: Burrow Bandits.
Okay.
Cactus Rats.
Okay.
Cobra Chickens.
Okay.
Jacked Rabbits.
Okay.
And Prairie Pirates. Now, they do have an explanation on all of these names and what they mean. The Burrow Bandits, a badger.
Yeah.
I mean, this is minor league ball, so they're trying to get that out of it.
Yeah.
Cactus Rats. What was that one again? It wasn't actually a rat. It was some other animal. Okay. Cobra Chickens, of course, Canada Goose.
Goose, yeah.
The Jacked Rabbits, a play on Jackrabbit.
Yeah.
And Prairie Pirates would be a magpie.
Yeah. I gotta say the last two make the most sense to me.
Rats is a name here in this province that I don't think anybody, and again, they're not referring to an actual rat. Yeah, and really cacti is not really a...
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. So you're going with Prairie Pirates, which I love a magpie.
So Prairie Pirates works perfect with Parkland. Parkland Prairie Pirates.
I like that.
It's
bit
phonetic,
of a mouthful, but yeah.
It's phonetic.
Yeah.
The old triple P's.
Yeah.
Like you could go with that. And Jack Rabbit's just your merch is going to be fantastic.
Cactus Rats was a play on a porcupine.
Okay.
Because the quills and the cacti.
yeah.
I guess that. But it's a bit of a stretch for me.
Not only that, but porcupines are adorable.
I'd say jacked rabbits. Just call them the Jack Rabbits. I don't think you need the jacked because baseball and getting jacked is a bit of a rocky road.
Jack, like when you hit a home run, you jacked it out of the park.
You jack, but you can jack it without the ED. PED? Do you see where I'm getting at? You don't need to be jacked.
I just don't know how far we want to go down the jacking hole.
Cobra chickens. I don't mind that. The
I don't
Canada
mind
goose
Cobra
is a noble
chickens.
bird. We
Yeah.
all know how annoying and aggressive they can be. I'm just kind of thinking too what the mascot would look like with a whole lot of these names. But
the magpie one would be great
I
because
love
there
magpies.
will be magpies.
Yes,
right.
And they're smart birds.
They're
very
brilliant
advantageous.
birds.
And
they look good on a ball cap. There's a lot to like there.
Viera Montenegro with the classic Parkland lame names, of course, not liking any of them there. And Tube Socks, no ratworm. Given our discussion earlier today.
the Corey Perrys.
The pigeon rats.
The Parkland Perrys.
Yeah.
Just have Corey Perry on a shirt.
That's
They would
the
sell.
Corey Perry's. I don't mind that. It's minor league ball, baby. Have a little fun. You can vote once again. Name your team.
He's not the
.net.
The texter who complained about bad Parkland names. He's not wrong. Speaking as someone who played on a Parkland posse.
A posse? I don't mind that. That was popular in the 90s,
dude, you can't. You can't show up on any field of battle with posse.
Did you also practice in a parking lot? As we'll switch to football now, Herm Edwards, the coach, he's good to go. We got Herm. Perfect. It's a big weekend, of course, Championship Sunday on the horizon. Herm Edwards joins us now, our NFL analyst, and he's brought to you as well by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. Check out the collection from Tokens and Icons, which transform NFL, NHL, MLB game-used items into wallets, bottle openers, and cufflinks. Pro-Am Sports in Edmonton, corner St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. Coach, great to have you on again. We appreciate your time leading into quite a Sunday. Storylines abound. We'll start with the AFC Championship. Everybody talking again. It's Josh Allen. It's Patrick Mahomes, much like last week with Lamar Jackson. Of course, football is more than just quarterbacks, though. So outside of those two guys, how do you see this championship going at Arrowhead, and what could be some factors outside of the quarterback play to you?
Well, I think the first thing you realize when you play the Buffalo Bills is their ability to take the ball away. They're plus 27 in the turnover differential. And there lies the problem if you play against the Buffalo Bills. They've done a nice job of taking the ball away, taking downs away from offenses, and obviously giving their offense the ability to play on short fields. If you think about the games they won, this is what got them when they play games where they can take the ball away. That always becomes a problem, and that's what they do well. And obviously, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you're playing an Arrowhead, and right now, this team has won. They're 11-0 in one possession games. So here lies the problem. If you're the Buffalo Bills, if it's a one possession game, you could be in trouble because the Chiefs seem to win those.
Let's get over then to the NFC Championship as well. Eagles and Commanders. I know, the health of Jalen Hurts is in question. We'll see. I mean, at this stage, the old adage is everybody's banged up to a certain degree. But 6-point favorites are the Eagles. We love seeing Jaden Daniels play. I don't think a lot of people saw him going into Detroit and doing what he did, or Detroit doing what they did for that matter. But is this where it kind of ends for Jaden Daniels this year and playing with the house money, or do you see him putting up a fight here against your Eagles?
Well, I think they're going to put up more than a fight. I think this team is a team right now that has a lot of confidence. I'm talking about Washington Commanders, the way they're playing. The offense relies on Jaden Daniels, whether it's throwing the football or running the football. And I think that the Philadelphia Eagles have to realize the zone read thing is an issue for a lot of teams. It's a college play run more than they do it in the pros because you're trying to protect the quarterback. But they've done that. They've utilized this, especially in reared his head against Detroit. He has the ability to hand it off. He'll run with it or he'll throw it. And so you have to be well equipped to defend that defensively. And the Eagles have an outstanding defense. They're number one in the league. So this is all a matter of stopping Jane Daniels. If you can stop Jane Daniels, you stop the offense. On the other side of it, if you Philadelphia Eagles, you run your way to a championship game with Saquon Barkley. That's not going to change a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think Jalen Hurts, because of his injury, this might actually help him in the fact that he has to sit in the pocket now and make some throws. He doesn't have to throw the football. You got to get it to the one guy that reads books when he's bored on the sideline, A.J. Brown, right? Get him the ball. And then obviously get Goddard the ball. But I think he'll have to stay in the pocket now if he plays, and I do believe he'll play. When he's going to have to throw the football.
Herm Edwards joining us here, our NFL analyst. Herm, I want to go cycle back to last week. I know Dan Campbell is a finalist for the AP Coach of the Year, and as he should be. But I know regular host here, Dustin Nielson, huge Lions fan. He was carving up some of the play calling following that game last week. But now they've gone and plucked the carcass clean. It seems coaches leaving left, right, and center. That it is the price of success to a degree. But in terms of what would you say to a Lions fan today, and how would you kind of talk to them about the near future for next season and beyond here? Always being led still by a Dan Campbell, but in terms of these other associate coaches leaving, your coordinators and such, what can you say to a Lions fan this morning?
Well, this is the price you pay when you win. You're going to lose coaches, and you know that, and I think. And Coach Campbell understands this. When you're the head coach, you realize that when you're successful, you're going to lose some coordinators. So with that being said, you already have some guys in mind. Now, they might be on staff there, or they might be somewhere else, but you understand that's part of the process. That's how he got his job. So I just think you realize that that's a part of success. I think if you're a Detroit Lions fan, the way it ended, it's never fun. And it's an abrupt ending. It happened to me as a player. It happened to me as a coach. This is an abrupt ending. It's like, now we go home. We're like everybody else with the season they had, and you lose to a supposedly rookie quarterback. But really, when you think about the game that you played, it was a game of errors. Not so much play calling, but a game of errors. They won a game of errors when they beat the Texans and they turned the ball over 5 times. They beat the Houston Texans doing that. Well, you're not going to beat good teams, especially teams that are in the playoffs, and you turn the ball over 5 times. And that's what it boils down to. I mean, the turnovers at the end, they were a competitive football team, but when you give another team opportunities and you turn it over 5 times, you're not winning those games. So it's something for them to learn. Jared Goff will admit he had a bad game. But it's just, you don't see it coming. And then when it comes, you're almost in shock. You're like, how did that just happen? Hey, That's what makes the National Football League so interesting.
I just wanted your thoughts on that topic. Does Ben Johnson unlock Caleb Williams in Chicago, in your opinion?
I would hope so. And he's got a talented young player. And I think this will help him tremendously. I'm talking Caleb Williams. He'll have a coach that comes in there that understands how to run it. He'll build the offense around his skill set, which I think is important. This is what happened to Jane Daniels. He goes to Washington. Cliff Kingsbury is a guy that's used to playing with a mobile quarterback. He played in the system in college that way. He's coached in the system when he was at Arizona that way. So now he has a mobile quarterback. And I think Chicago now, that quarterback they have, Caleb Williams, you're going to see improvement dramatically next season.
What is your thought on the hiring process of assistants? Should it be the head coach's job, or is there supposed to be some sort of oversight from the general manager and president?
No, that's got to be the head coach's deal. I mean, when they start getting together, they're going to sit in for interviews, but collectively they're going to talk about the prospective coach. But at the end, the coach has to fit with your staff, and that's important. Because if it's not the coach's hire, then that's not good. The head coach has to be all in this. I don't know the times I had to hire coaches. It was guys, there's a list, and there's some guys that you feel fit and that understand, when they come in, you've been successful with something because you just lost coaches. So you're not bringing them in to run their offense or their defense. You're actually bringing them in to say, hey, can you continue to do what we're doing? We're not going to change our system because you became the offensive and defensive coordinator. We've been pretty successful doing this. And so that's where the rub's at. can the guy fit the players that you have now that you've been successful with, his system around these players?
Is it the most underappreciated talent of a head coach, his ability to identify other coaching talent and develop it?
No doubt. And I think that the hardest thing for a head coach, is that you're in constant communication with the players. You can never lose touch at a locker room, right? That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, you have to know, and players are like employees. You better know how they feel. You better know the temperature in the locker room. That's the critical part if you want them to follow you. And you can never lose sight of that. You can sit in all these rooms and you can sit upstairs. And I used to make it at least once, twice a week. I would sit in the locker room in the morning when players were coming in there. I could sit down there in the locker room with the players. And they'd come in and say, Coach, what you doing now? I'm just sitting here just seeing what you guys doing, right? You got to go visit the locker room. You got to go in there because you got to know the vibe. You got to know the feel of it. You got to talk to the trainer because the trainer knows everything. The equipment man and the trainer know everything about all the players, right? Because that's the world they live in. They hear all the conversations down there. You got to visit with those two guys every day. Are we okay? That's equipment guy. Are we okay? Coach, you need to talk to this guy. Oh, okay. So these things are important. That's how you lead. That's true leadership, in my opinion.
And we mentioned Ben Johnston. I wanted to get your thoughts. The Lions defense as well, ravaged with injury, but Aaron Glenn doing a good job and ultimately named head coach of the Jets here. Your thoughts on that fit, Herm? Aaron Glenn to the Jets. Does he also kind of, rise them above like Johnston will be trying to do in Chicago?
Well, I think he knows the culture there. Aaron played for me when I was with the Jets. So he understands that culture. He understands the environment of New York, of being a player in New York, of being a coach in New York. He's inheriting a good football team. Mm-hmm. He really is. His team has a lot of talent, but we've always said this. Talent is one thing, but talent can be a curse when it doesn't play together as a team. And that has been their curse. He's got to find a way to unite these guys together and say, look, we got to play as a team. We can't play individually, collectively. We got to come together as a football team. And we do that, we'll win games. The big deal there is, what are you going to do with Aaron Rodgers? Mm-hmm. Is you bringing him back or you're not bringing him back? And I will say this. I say this all the time. Okay, if Aaron Rodgers is gone, who are you going to get? That's the question you better be able to answer.
Coach, we know who you're riding with in the NFC. What's your pick for the AFC Championship? Bills or Chiefs? Who do you got coming out of Arrowhead?
Oh, boy. Look, I work for Kansas City. I think it was my first job as an assistant coach. And I love Josh Allen. So I'm just going to watch it and go, you know what? Like I said earlier, it's going to boil down to this. If it's a one-possession game, you might be in trouble because Patrick Mahomes, they win those one-score games. Now, if you turn the ball over a bunch, it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. You said the other game, I know you didn't want to mention Philadelphia and Washington because, everyone thinks, well, I'm riding with the Eagles.
Yeah.
But in that one, it's kind of interesting for me because I win either way. Philly wins, I'm good. If Washington wins, I'm good because that's my quarterback. So I'm good either way on that one.
You've got your hand in every pot. I love it, Herm. Classic stuff. We appreciate your time again. Enjoy Sunday, man. Put your feet up and have a good time.
I will. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Herm Edwards, the coach, NFL analyst, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Check them out today for any NFL apparel if you want to get jazzed up here before Championship Sunday or the Super Bowl here in a couple of weeks' time. You're a big Pro Bowl guy, too, aren't you? You and Iwanek.
No, I can't stand it. I honestly look at both the Chicago and the Jets situation, and I just, as long as those owners are in charge, I don't know if there's a coach you can hire.
Yeah, or a draft that you can win, right?
Right.
It just seems like there is the Simpsons meme going around with that the Krusty doll, like you're coaching this team, but you inherit this curse, like that type of thing.
Right.
It's a stank that you can't get rid of, and it usually comes from the top down. And aside from winning like a generational talent, even then it's not guaranteed.
Like for the Jets, it's impossible for you to keep any decision making in house to begin with.
It's New York.
It's New York. It's a rabid media. It's a rabid fan base. But more, what's worse is it's an owner and a family that everyone thinks they get to have final say on things. And not that they want final say, but they all believe it.
Mm-hmm.
They all believe that they're in charge.
And yet nobody is.
And yet nobody is, right?
Yeah.
Like, because there is no final say. That's the problem. And then with my Bears, the problem is that you have an ownership family that has just been able to get away with being mediocre their entire existence and blame everyone else. Blame circumstance, blame weather, blame the fact that their stadium is old and now it's in the wrong place. And they are the worst deflectors of criticism that there is in the NFL, that they never once go, maybe it's us.
Yeah, but a league large enough where you can just hide and go about that business and nobody seems to care, right?
Right? Like they, to me, they're the exact opposite of what you have in Pittsburgh with the Steelers.
Sure.
Which is a very similar, like an iconic family. But in Pittsburgh, that family understands delegation of authority. They also understand that it's their meal ticket.
But
Like,
even in that situation,
you don't screw around with this because this is our meal ticket.
Yeah, but even that purgatory mediocrity, fans don't even want that. I mean, in a league where it's designed where you can lose and take advantage of that losing and then spring eternal, I know what you're saying, Caleb. Like, it's supposed to be dawning of a new day, and it continues not to be because you keep making. But I think for a Steelers fan base too, you'd actually say, hey, you know what? Let's hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Let's see what that gets us, because you do have an ownership that, and would be able to handle that responsibility.
The Bears remind me of the Blue Jays in that they are sitting in a market that is a top 5 North American market.
You've talked about this before, and Canada or not,
and it's acting like they're a mid tier, right? They go, well, I don't know if we can afford that, and are you drunk? Like, you are the Chicago Bears. You should be able to pay top price for whatever you want, and instead you go, no, it doesn't fit our budget. And it's the same thing in Toronto where you got the Blue Jays going, oh, it doesn't fit our budget. We're a mid tier team. You're a top 4 television market.
Yes, but
and has been proven in the past that if you put a competitive product on the field,
yes,
the money follows.
But the Chicago Bears brand in football carries more cachet than the Blue Jays brand in baseball.
Sure,
I think.
No, exactly. No, it doesn't, because
from a player's point,
players and management know that that's a basket case organization that screws around with stuff, and I don't want to touch it.
The Jays.
No,
The
the Bears.
Bears. Okay, yeah.
I don't want to touch it. So the only way you're going to get me to come here is pay me more money, right? And it's the Toronto Blue Jays as well, where they're like, hey, you got to cross a border. It's in Toronto. And so the only thing the Jays have to do, this is it. The only thing the Jays have to do is pay more money. And they refuse to do that. And it's the same thing with the Chicago Bears. You want a good head coach? Pay the guys the money. You want a good general manager? Pay the guys the money. And they refuse to do it.
We've been talking about the CUCK chair a lot when it comes to the Jays management and the sweepstakes that they've been in, which has led to a lot of hilarious discussion.
Yeah.
But they finally got their man in Anthony Santander. And Dusty will not talk about it. Some fan, he doesn't want to talk about them until they're good again. 780-218-9999 if you want to play trivia this morning for Mr.
You're a
Mike's.
cruel man.
We're sending in Mr. Mike's. Hey, I got all these Blue Jay boys. Oh, the Jays. Oh, you're not a fan of it. And then this happens. And I'm like, the Jays, who needs them?
Yeah.
God. If you want to play trivia this morning, Will's got him. You know how we roll. Kind of easy trivia. Will's got the questions. You only need 3 out of 5.
Not even a hard question.
We'll be sending you to Mr. Mike's.
I bet I decided not. They're
Well,
all
there's-
easy. They're all easy.
Let's just say you have to be paying attention to sports. You'd want to be, I think you'd want to be knowing what's going on this weekend on the gridiron and maybe in the Oilers sphere.
Yeah.
But 780-218-9999. Text in, say, Trev, I want to play. He'll pick one of you. We'll bring you back. You need 3 out of 5, and you'll be off to Mr. Mike's. This is the Nielsen Show. No Dustin Nielsen today. Lieutenant Eric, Will Fraser, and YouTube Trev. It is presented to you by Southport Chevrolet from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, edmontonsportstalk.com.
The Oilers get revenge with the 6-2 win over Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Oil will be back in action on Saturday for a matinee matchup against Ryan McLeod and the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drop for this one goes at 2 o'clock. 10 other games in the NHL last night, which saw the Canadiens fall to the Red Wings 4-2. The Bruins shut out the Senators 2-0, and the Calgary Flames defeat the Sabres 5-2 is the score. Tonight in the NHL, just 4 games that dot the schedule, which sees the Golden Knights take on the Stars. The Flyers head to New York to take on the Islanders. Lightning will be visiting the Blackhawks, and the Utah Hockey Club will head north to play the Winnipeg Jets. In the association last night, the Raptors win a close one over the Hawks. 122-119 is the score. Scotty Barnes led the way with 25 points. The Raptors have now won 4 of their last 5 and are back on the court tomorrow for a rematch against the Hawks. Tip-off for this one goes at 5:30, and just 3 games in the NBA tonight. The Cavs will play the 76ers, the Trailblazers take on the Hornets, and the Pelicans are set to face the Grizzlies. And to finish things off in the NFL, just 2 games as it is the Final Four. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders visit Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Kickoff for this one goes at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And the big one, the marquee matchup of the weekend, sees Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going head-to-head on Sunday at 4 o'clock in what will be the 4th time these two face in the postseason. So far, Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. The Sports Update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since 1993. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood Leduc.
Big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
Is the mic on? 8:10. 8:10, Nielson Show. Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen. There you go. You had a bit of an issue with his headphones. We had to turn you down a bit. That's it. People don't know. Dusty's got a bit of a hearing problem.
That guy just
it's good now, I think.
makes me worry.
Yeah, well, like, here you were worrying about me.
Like, there's not one bit of his health that doesn't cause me concern. His hearing, his heart, like...
Yeah, the doctor's appointment yesterday. I think it should be all fine.
I'm sure he got another pill to take. Yeah.
Dusty away on a hockey tournament this weekend. We wish him well down in High River, but Will Fraser in, YouTube Trev as well behind the monitors.
Get well soon.
Get well. Yeah. Hangout coming up 9 to 11 today as well on EST. Jay Milne's on his way in. Morning, beautiful people. Coffees, he asks.
I'm good, but thanks for the offer. Thanks for the offer.
That's why they call him the glue guy.
He is the glue guy.
He's the glue guy.
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you, Jay.
He was the last time I saw him. He and his wife were venturing on a bit of a running journey, like starting to try and incorporate that into their health routine and stuff like that. So I am interested to see how the winter months have gone.
That's always the test.
It's a grind, man. It's an absolute grind.
Yeah, I don't move anymore at all.
You don't, hey?
No.
I got an easy 10K in.
And nothing moves inside me either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all connected, right? It is the Nielson Show, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot out in Fort Saskatchewan. www.southportchev.com. Paris Jewelers Inbox has been taking a pounding this morning. 780-218-9999. Once again, $20 to A&W on the line today for text of the day. You'll probably be swooping in later in this third hour. I'm just going to say that. We didn't really have a topic du jour. I guess we were talking Corey Perry and the rat-legness, the Grandmaster performance from him last night. But if you want to get in either on the Edmonton Prospects rebrand or Corey Perry, 780-218-9999. And the Nasty Chat is just, as always, just a tremendous place to hang out in the morning. But we're going to play some kind of easy trivia right now for Mr. Mike's. Will's taking the time. He came in extra early today to cobble out 5 questions here. The contestant's just going to need 3 out of 5, so it's very simple. Who do we got on the line, Trev?
Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve. How are you doing today, Steve?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Can't complain, thanks. Will?
I'm super duper.
Super. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's not bad here. Mr. Mikes, you know you're Scuba Steve, you've played a lot. I think you're a veteran of the game. You know how this goes. But for everybody listening again, I'll read the question. We'll start the ticker after I read that. You need 3 out of 5, and you're on your way to Mr. Mikes. Are you good to go, sir?
You bet.
Who do the Oilers play next?
Buffalo.
Name a Buffalo Sabre.
Ryan McLeod.
Who is taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Final this Sunday?
Buffalo Bills.
Name a Buffalo Bill.
Josh Allen.
Name one team playing in the NFC Championship.
Washington Commanders.
He's going to Mr. Mike. He got it. Scuba Steve.
Sergio Ramos gets a nipple erection.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Penner's Pancake says Grizzled Vet Steve. He knows how to do it there. Scuba Steve, you're going to Mr. Mike's.
I love this town.
Yeah, his winning percentage is through the roof.
Name a Buffalo Sabre. Former Oiler.
Somebody said they wouldn't mind Dylan Cousins on this squad if you're looking to pick that Buffalo carcass. Trev just arrived over there in the corner. Devon, get the tissues.
I think the Oilers are fine.
Well, yeah. Stoff did allude last night, though, on the intermission that a bottom 6 forward also could be in the plans.
Okay.
Well, no, we're not looking at a major reconstruction of the top 6 or anything, but we can fantasize.
It's the muscle memory, right? It's the muscle memory of this fan base.
Yeah.
That we could, it's the bottom 6 that's the problem. Nope, it's not.
Yeah.
You literally have the 2 best hockey players in the world on your team.
More. That was kind of easy trivia. Once again, brought to you by Mr. Mike's. Let's get into 3 questions too many. We also got That's Good coming up.
That's good.
For the Italian Center. Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Yard Brewing will be joined virtually there by a guest. And the Marmot Basin Snow Report, which is in right now. I'm staring right at it. And that's all ahead of the wrap for William Huff. 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where you can always get more with dealer principal Mitch Lewicki down at Park Mazda. Go visit them today out in Sherwood Park, parkmazda.ca. Social media, where can people find you, Will?
Don't worry about it.
You're on Blue Sky, though. I know a lot of people are migrating over there.
I keep getting so-and-so is now following you. I don't post. I don't post. I will
Give
not
him the
post.
handle, though, just so people can follow you.
No, I don't.
And keep getting those notifications.
Just phone a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Like, the next time you get that urge to pick
That's a good lesson.
up on social media, just, there is someone in your life that you have not actually like verbally spoken with. Just use your phone. Like,
Trev, where can people find you on social media? You'll play this game. You're on Blue Sky too, are you not? You signed up.
I did, and then I deleted
You
it.
deactivated.
I don't think I...
Why?
Well, I'm the same as you. I haven't posted. My one post was like, how does this work?
Yeah, but are you on X?
Yes.
So just do your X stuff on Blue Sky.
I don't know. It just wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking. It didn't feel right. I know it will.
It didn't feel racist enough in there. I needed to,
but I
needed to have that underlying threat
I'm used
and
to
anger.
the sludge. Yeah. Where's the sludge?
That's I went my whole life. It wasn't until I started working here until I got Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, and when I was in college, they're like, oh, no, like
Yeah.
in this industry, you're going to need it. It's going to be a tool for you. And I'm just like, I didn't buy into it in college. But so I did now. I gave into the peer pressure, but I still don't really go on Twitter that much. If I just post what I'm doing. That's all I use it for. I don't
You can
really
do that on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And people won't call you a cuck.
Yeah, or offer you to invest in a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get it back again. But yeah, YouTube _Trev on Twitter, and
you're on the gram,
and then YouTube _Trev on Instagram as well. Give it a follow.
You two are also on Instagram as well.
For some reason, yeah.
It's a great follow.
Follow me.
Follow Will Fraser. On all the social media platforms. Let's get into it. Question number 1 today. It is National Peanut Butter Day. How do you boys like it? Crunchy, smooth, or whipped?
There was a time in my life where the whipped thing was...
it was a fad.
It was a real... Yeah, that's exactly
Let's be honest. The two are the crunchy and the smooth.
What it was. So, I mean, most days it's going to be crunchy. But you have to also have a jar of smooth on hand for those odd days where you're like, you know what? I don't need to crunch anything today. Apples and peanut butter, by the way, the ultimate snack.
Yeah, like
if you heat up the peanut butter.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds.
Knock it off.
No, seriously.
Don't be a sicko.
No, try this.
No, I'm not going to.
It's way better.
Liquid peanut butter.
Yeah, because it's like nice and hot. Seriously, it's so good.
I think you just need more hugs.
Okay, no one's agreeing. Okay, never mind.
Well, it's you go ahead. I mean, we're not
as
it'll change your life.
You do you.
Do you like peanut butter ice cream? Let's go the other opposite route, like a frozen peanut butter. No, you're not rocking on that.
Have you ever had the Haagen-Dazs peanut butter and chocolate ice cream?
I have not. No.
Oh my god.
I don't even particularly like the peanut butter stouts. Like I don't like. The taste of peanut butter. I'm not really too fond of. To be honest.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe that's a.
Yeah, no. The
like
Haagen-Dazs peanut butter with chocolate is should be illegal. Like it's too good.
You must be
Lots of
21
Haagen-Dazs.
to purchase.
Yeah.
Question number 2, of the 4 remaining teams in the NFL playoffs, and the championship Sunday being this Sunday, rank the team logos in order from best to worst.
Good question.
Because I love them all.
Okay, so Chiefs at number 1.
Really?
Eagles at 2.
An arrowhead with...
Yeah.
Come on.
Bills at 3.
Bills at 3?
And
you're out to lunch.
Commanders at 4.
You're out to lunch.
Well, listen.
Commanders is 4.
Got to stir the pot a little.
Commanders is 4 because it's a W.
Yeah.
Bills has to be number 1. And when I'm talking Eagles, because this can go a different way, I like the full bird.
Okay.
Which they do use from time to time.
Sure.
The screaming head is okay.
But that's not their primary logo.
Okay. Yeah,
we're talking primary.
Spirit of the question, I get it. You're not using the full buffalo either in the old style where it's kind of hunched over.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm going Bills number 1 with a bullet. Eagles screaming head 2, KC 3, Washington 4.
Okay. Washington
Bills
at 4.
at 3. Washington 4 is, yes.
That's unanimous.
Listen.
It's a W.
It's a W.
If you make me rank all, is it 32? All 32
Dusty's doing a list
teams.
of every single player that's played in the NHL. And he's releasing it week by week. Oh, you got to get on this.
Man.
All the way to
He has kids.
Tank Broda hasn't been on it yet.
Like, he has kids.
Andy Bathgate, nowhere to be found. Can you believe
Dustin,
it?
What
Anyways,
are you doing?
Trev, what are your ranking systems here?
I'm going to also take Bills at 1, Chiefs 2, Eagles 3, Commanders 4.
Yeah. Sorry, glue guy.
It's a W.
It's a W.
Commanders is just, it's.
I've never
it's
been a
weak sauce.
fan of just the letters for logos. It's kind of basic, simple.
Some of them, I don't know. What's
Like,
good? I
imagine-
mean, it's baseball-y. That's what you do in baseball,
Yeah.
letter logos, right? Like that's always.
Tube Socks can chime in on this. I've done some logos, but like, just imagine pitching this. We've worked very hard, and here's your W.
I don't think anyone
Like
in Washington.
I'd be so disappointed.
I don't think anyone in the Commanders organization stepped up and went, "We worked really hard at this."
I hope
You'd
not.
be surprised.
I think
I
all
hope
they
not.
did was go to the audience and go, "We're not racist anymore," and that was enough.
You could have just had a
Here's a
maroon
W.
helmet.
Yeah.
Put the number on the helmet, like
Here's a
Alabama.
W. You won't be embarrassed to wear this. That's our guarantee.
Yeah.
It's worked. They're one game away from a Super Bowl.
Well, that's the whole name curse thing, which I find like you can't really bang that drum. too
Right,
much anymore.
exactly.
And it'll happen here with the Elks too. I mean,
Yeah.
they're dawning of a new day here, and they'll be better than they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, leave the helmet blank. Put the number on the helmet, like Alabama,
Sure.
right?
That's
I don't know.
yeah.
W doesn't really, unless we're missing something in that W. Is like the Expos logo. Like, are we not staring? Are we staring too hard? Do we need to take a step back and cross our eyes, and then all of a sudden a commander pops out at
Yeah.
us?
Sure.
You know, like those
How much
90s
longer
paintings?
though before it's monetized?
The W?
No, just team names. Like how much longer before that's for sale as well?
Like, how do you like selling it to fans? Like
No.
You're talking crypto here, NFTs?
Right, exactly. So like the arena,
Yeah.
you sell the naming rights.
Yes.
Like,
Oh.
how long?
Oh.
How long until the literal team's naming rights
Well,
is monetized?
Red Bull has a whole soccer institution worldwide now. You have Red Bull, and they wouldn't allow it in Germany. Leipzig's team is called RB Leipzig because they won't allow the corporatization in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
But you already have Red Bull, New York Red Bull,
Yep.
Red Bull Salzburg.
Yep.
I think they have derivatives in South America
Right.
now. But that's where it's starting.
Right.
If you want to start a point, it's Red Bull, and
Yeah.
they've done it. And usually what happens in soccer
Like
usually finds its way.
How long? Like soccer already sells the jersey,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like, so how long before they monetize?
But
the
you have
actual
Red Bull in your club
name
crest.
itself? Like,
For some of those teams, you have the
Right.
two bulls. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you're right. That's where it starts. I wonder though when it finds its way to North American shores and which league, like the Atlanta Hawks or something.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
That would be
who's the first?
who's the first.
Yeah,
Who's
who's
gonna
the first one in? Like, think about what like arena naming rights went for in some of those markets. Like in the hundreds of millions.
And then you just hope that your team gets the good company.
Right.
Like you don't want to be
right.
like the Denver Walmarts.
Right. And they are.
And you could have a W on your helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But Tube Suck says the Browns logo is awesome.
Right. The Edmonton Rexalls.
What would then the Spruce Grove baseball team be? The prospects. What
would be the local business? Well, it's Thompson Construction. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Same guy that owns the football team.
So that would be okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. There was a minor league.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Saskatoon it was called the Rempel Brothers. That was a construction company.
Yeah.
And they just named their ball team that.
Yeah.
The Rempel. That sounded okay. But some of those companies out there, like you do not want. Like, hey, your town's famous for like Loris disposal bins or something. Hey,
Yeah, that's right. The Calgary Preparation H. That would be perfect. I think I would buy the logo just to call them the Preparation
See, it's
H.
already working.
Yeah.
You take the money now.
Exactly, yeah.
Papa Bear says Utah HC has been stringing us all along. Utah Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe that's where it finds on the shores of. Dudley says Seattle Samsung.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, the Seattle Microsoft is probably what it would be, or the Amazons.
Wouldn't it be the Rexall
Seattle
Oilers?
Amazons actually kind of works.
I'd love to see the cheerleaders. Come on,
you couldn't miss them. They're all 6'8".
Okay.
220.
Yeah. You betcha.
Just a bunch of Serena Williams lookalikes.
Hey, yeah. Oh my God. Question number 3: will the Vancouver Canucks be a part of the NHL postseason?
Maybe the bottom of the West.
No offense sitting
No,
here.
it's just that the bottom of the Western Conference is pretty pathetic.
It's a worse turtle derby than what we'll see in the East. The East will be fun to watch. That's going to be a great, and as Chris said too, Chris Johnston, our hockey insider, Rangers have been turning it on. The Red Wings have new life with Todd McClellan. Habs, I mean, are they buyers for crying out loud? Sens in the mix. Blue Jackets have been playing great hockey.
I mean, I guess
they're not any cup contenders.
Ask
maybe
the question: Blues, Flames, Canucks. Who are you picking out of those three?
I'll say the Flames with goaltending.
Okay,
Trev, you want to give us a team?
Blues, Flames, Canucks, out of those ones.
Yeah,
because Colorado's going to make it.
Yeah.
So it's really between those three, and I said it at the beginning of the season. I thought the Flames were going to make the playoffs, and they're in a wild card spot. I think they're going to hold on to it. I really do. I think the Canucks.
Poor Calgary. Hey.
Yeah, but it's like a dumb decision. It is. I don't know why they would want to do that, but especially with Gavin McKenna coming up. But Vancouver, you see it. Sometimes you have a really good year, you make some changes in the offseason, and then this is the product of that. So they're not doing it. They got all the locker room drama.
I will say this: a Flames Jets first round would be pretty entertaining.
Sure.
I'd definitely watch it. Yes, that would be very entertaining.
Right?
That'd be I'd like that way more than
as much as I'm not a Preparation H fan.
Well, Lars Y says the logo could be a PH on a fingertip.
Yeah.
Let's give us that. But you can keep the flaming C.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
It really does. Yeah. Just have the fingers going right in there. Okay. That was 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, parkmazda.ca. Let's get a little that's good here quickly for the Italian Center shop. Sobeys Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. They should be. Let me know when they get in the bullpen there, Trev, and we'll sashay our way
when they're
over.
warming up.
Yeah, but that's good. The Italian Center shop.
That's good.
Make your way there this weekend. Have a little date night maybe. Take the missus or the mister out. Get a little table. Order a pie. Get some red wine. They give you that long stick with the number on it, so you sit there and you feel really important. And it's just a nice place to hang out. And of course, the take and bake pastas. I mentioned the pizzas. Dusty said sometimes he goes to the deli, takes a number, and when they call it, he says, "No, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I was just here to enjoy it." Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then you go to the back of the line again. So, Italian Center, check them out today for all of that, including the paninos, the hot and spicies, the veg, or the milds. That's good. Well, it's good to see you again.
That's good.
And to hear you. I'm glad that you come on either the Monday, Wednesday, or the Friday so we can do this segment together. But you and I have a date night tonight.
I know. That is so good. We've been working on this for like 2 months.
Well, we have, because you were in for Dusty while he was away in the fall, and we had a lot of time to kind of reconnect and everything. And you kind of, I think you initially you sprung it on me. I said, "Hey, why don't we take our wives out and have a bit of a foursome?" My wife. So we're gonna do that today. Yeah. And I said I didn't want to force it.
Yeah.
And we're doing it at a place that's very special because it's a place where your son works as well. Yeah, and I haven't seen your kid. You brought your boys in to tour the old place, and they were.
It's going to break your brain a little bit.
And I want that.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. He's it's a new restaurant / known restaurant. Mm-hmm. So in Spruce Grove, a tapas bar opened up a couple of years ago called the Grape and Olive. Wonderful place. Unfortunately, the ownership group suffered a little tragedy and had to shut down. And in the meantime, there's another restaurant, one of the best steakhouses in Alberta, called Barbacoa.
Okay.
And both my kids have worked there. One is a server, the other one back of house.
Dish pit.
In the dish pit, garde-manger as well. So,
hello.
So that has happened. And in the meantime, members of that ownership group have now purchased the former Grape and Olive location, rebranded it Barbaretta. But it is still cocktails and tapas and share. Like
I can't wait.
It's a really nice joint. And
you're buying?
The best part of this, and parents will understand this more than anyone else. It's 18 only.
Oh,
not good. 18 only after 9 o'clock. Not the
whole time.
18 only. So I don't know if you might be someone like me, but when you do get the opportunity to have a date night with your better half or with friends or whatever, the last thing you want if you have kids is to share a restaurant with somebody else's kids. Because it's hard as a parent to not be just because you're wired.
See, and I don't have kids. Sometimes I like making faces at them.
No, that's just it.
Popping over the booth.
Like people without kids, unbothered by it.
Yeah,
because they are unconcerned.
You can still get bothered.
You can if they're really bad, but
I hear what you mean.
You're not even distracted by it. It doesn't pop.
No.
Whereas when you're a parent,
want to get
your
out of that
brain's kind of
realm.
already hardwired for it, and the last thing you want is any kids in a restaurant. So 18 plus. So yeah, we'll start the evening at Barbaretta.
Look at this.
And we're going to finish at Barbacoa.
He's got reservations.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. I look for, what's the one thing that you have in mind that you want? Because you are familiar with this place.
It is the dessert at Barbacoa. Now, fantastic steakhouse, but they also do a Basque cheesecake. And so that's what we're going for, the dessert at the Barbacoa.
So you're going straight to dessert. You almost want to, like, the tapas.
The tapas are delicious.
Yeah,
and their cocktails are absolutely the best you've ever had.
Love a good cocktail.
But to finish the night off perfectly, nothing's better.
Well, we could have went anywhere and it'd finish the night off perfectly with you, Phrase. It's going to be really good.
You don't
It's
know
going to
that.
be a great time. No, I can't wait.
I get belligerent once I have cheesecake in me.
That's enough, sir.
Yeah,
I'll tell you when I've had enough.
Exactly.
Son, So that's good. I a little selfishly this segment.
That's good.
Yeah, and you'll be doing that all night. A couple of cheesecakes in you. You'll be yelling.
Yeah,
That's good.
with a mouthful.
That's good. Yeah, but figured I'd go a little selfish and spring that because it's been a while and we went over Christmas and everything.
yeah.
But it's good. We're doing this. It's actually visiting a lot of people this January, which kind of gets you out of the doldrums out of the month. Coming up, we'll have a sports update here. YouTube Trev will have one for Sit and Sleep. We'll be back with Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor is on the line as well from Yard Brewing. It is the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser, YouTube Trev, here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, edmontonsportstalk.com.
The Oilers get revenge with a 6-2 win over Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Oil will be back in action on Saturday for a matinee matchup against Ryan McLeod and the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drop for this one goes at 2 o'clock. 10 other games in the NHL last night, which saw the Canadiens fall to the Red Wings 4-2. The Bruins shut out the Senators 2-0, and the Calgary Flames defeat the Sabres 5-2 is the score. Tonight in the NHL, just 4 games that dot the schedule, which sees the Golden Knights take on the Stars. The Flyers head to New York to take on the Islanders. The Lightning will be visiting Chicago to play the Blackhawks. And the Utah Hockey Club head north to play the Winnipeg Jets. In the association last night, the Raptors win a close one over the Hawks. 122-119 is the score. Scotty Barnes led the way with 25 points. The Raptors have now won 4 of their last 5 and are back on the court tomorrow for a rematch against the Hawks. Tip-off for this one goes at 5:30. And just 3 games in the NBA tonight. The Cavs are set to play the 76ers, the Trailblazers take on the Hornets, and the Pelicans will face the Grizzlies. To finish off in the NFL, just 2 games as it is the Final Four. Jane Daniels and the Commanders visit Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Kickoff for this one goes at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and the marquee matchup of the weekend sees Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going head-to-head on Sunday at 4 o'clock in what will be the 4th time these two face in the postseason. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in the playoffs. Sit and Sleep is currently offering a winter clearance event. From massive discounts on major sleep brands to unbeatable deals on Canadian-made custom furniture, our winter clearance event is your chance to transform your home at a fraction of the cost. Plus, enjoy perks like free local white glove delivery and special financing offers that make it even easier to bring home the best. Visit us today in South Common next to Planet Fitness.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Oh, yeah, they're in Iwanix 8:36, it is the Nielsen Show. No Dustin Nielsen. He's away at a hockey tournament today. He'll be back Monday, recapping the weekend it was for both the Oilers and the NFL. Will Fraser in, Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev behind the monitors. The Nielsen Show, presented as always by Southfort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Check them out today, www.southfortchevrolet or in Fort Saskatchewan. Coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, where it's always hot in here. We're going to attempt to cool off a bit now with our Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. As mentioned, $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor will be on the line following the segment. We'll give you a chance to text in. You could be walking away with that, GC. Really kind of helps you out for the weekend ahead. We'll be going down to Calgary this week, and we're joined virtually today as well by, I do believe, Aaron. Is that you, Aaron? I don't. Sometimes they'll say, "Hey, you're being joined by Frank," and it'll be John coming on. But is that you, Aaron? Identify yourself. Tell the good people, the viewers and the listeners, who you are and what you're sporting today.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Wires. I'm the sales manager with Yard Brewing. I've been with the company for just over 6 years, and we've been established here in Calgary, in the northeast of Calgary, for just over 7 years.
Yeah, we've sampled your guys' stuff multiple times throughout the years. It's good. I do have to say, though, in preface, we got 3 beers on the studio table here. We were sent a box from you guys, and we got it midweek, and we thought a severed head was in it because it was just totally soaked, and we were like, oh, no. And I had the pleasure of cracking it open, and, of course, with the cold weather as it was, a few cans didn't quite make it. We salvaged as much as we could from the box. I think you sent a wine kit as well, I do believe.
No, I sent a box. It was it had 6 glasses in it, 6 little Rail Yard glasses.
Yeah, that was gone. It's all gone. Listen, we used some glasses from the kitchen here. We won't turn them around, but we got 3 beers. I don't believe we have the beer of the week, unfortunately. That didn't survive the journey. But before I guess we crack into these 3, tell us a little bit about what the deal is this week for the beer of the week. Looks delicious. I love a good red ale myself.
Yeah, so this is the Shogun Red Ale. This was released at our 7th anniversary party this year. The owner has been wanting us to put out a red ale for quite some time, and finally our brew team here put together a really good red ale. It's the Shogun Red Ale. It is. We have a special ingredient in this one. The special ingredient in this one is a Japanese sweet potato. So what we do is they take the sweet potatoes, cut them up, give them to the kitchen, and let them roast it. And they add those sweet potatoes to a brewer bag and put it into the kettle.
Damn, I wish that beer would have survived the trip. Sweet potato, Japanese-inspired red ale. It's a 4-pack for $11.99. That is the deal. Will you be sampling one yourself here on camera for us, for Aaron?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Let us know how it is. Describe it as best as you can for us, and we'll kind of paint the picture. Cheers.
It's a phenomenal sweet red ale. It's got some nice roasted malty flavors to it, a little bit of bready flavors. You definitely taste the sweetness from the sweet potatoes. You don't have the actual flavor of the sweet potato. It just enhances the sweetness of this beer. It does pour a nice, deep red golden color, but it's phenomenal. It's very light. It's 4.5%, very low in the bitterness. There's not a lot of bitter aftertaste, but it is very... The aftertaste is very caramely, very sweet.
Okay, well, it's almost good that we didn't give me an excuse to go and actually purchase a 4-pack. I think Will be joining me as well after this.
Absolutely.
We don't mind a red ale.
Like, January is kind of like the red ale season. Like if beer had seasons to it, this would kind of be a shoulder season, wouldn't it? Like, you've come through all sort of the dark, chocolatey, gingerbready sort of Christmas, and now we're kind of getting ourselves to spring. Not into spring, but we're kind of getting that bridge into spring, and red ale is kind of that perfect sort of bridge in between those seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, like the red ale does quite well. Typically, we've never really had a darker beer for winter season. The only darker beer we really had for that winter season was that Nitro Stout.
Yeah.
We're one of the only brewers in Alberta to nitro infuse our beers. And what we do is we have a liquid nitrogen doser that doses every single can as it comes off the canning line, and we seal it right away. So we were trying to figure out what would do really well in the late fall to early spring type of beer. And funny enough, even that raspberry blonde that you have sitting there does quite well in the wintertime.
Okay.
They're all quite fantastic, and we really don't want beers to be set to a calendar date.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't matter if you want a stout in the middle of the hot summer day or have a stout in the fall or winter. Same with something fruity and sweet like a sour does quite well in the wintertime as well. Obviously, yes, we see bigger volumes in their certain seasons, but we really don't want to set stuff with certain calendar dates.
And that's a nice challenge, I guess, to kind of think outside that box and get people's brains and taste buds going where they're not maybe traditionally used to. Aaron Wires joining us here, sales manager, Yard Brewing. Let's join you here in a glass here. Where would you suggest we go next? We do got that raspberry lemon blonde, as you mentioned, the nitro stout, and the ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper, Hefeweizen.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that ghost pepper last. Let's go into that raspberry. Let's go into that raspberry lemon blonde. And so when you crack that raspberry lemon blonde, I don't know if we're allowed to say any kind of brand names, but it tastes and smells just like a Swedish berry candy.
Okay.
The minute you crack
down
it,
on that,
just the sweet smells to it of raspberry, light citrus notes to it. It's phenomenal, and it's just like tasting one as well. It's a fantastic beer.
Love a Swedish berry.
I also have Corey here, who's on our brew team as well.
Hey there.
Hey, Corey. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Not bad. Not bad. You guys all Flames fans down there too, or what?
Oh, you betcha. Die hard.
Okay. Are they making the playoffs then?
I don't know. I want them to, and I don't want them to at the same
For
time.
sure.
So.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Purgatory
that's exactly
zone.
how it's
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, Corey, and we'll cheers now. Raspberry lemon blonde, boys.
Cheers.
Well, that's raspberry bush on the nose. Like,
you're doing the raspberry.
Yeah.
I'd get that Swedish berry now that he said it. I
Yeah?
can't get it
Oh,
out
you
of my
can't get
mind.
it out of your head?
No,
Yeah.
He's sold me now. But cheers, boys.
So yeah, the raspberry lemon blonde is a 4.2%, so quite sessionable. It's sweet in flavor, but it doesn't leave that sweet kind of weird aftertaste to it. You definitely have that, like I said, that Swedish berry flavors, great aftertaste, a little bit of a lemon pith. You don't really actually taste like lemony juice, but it's more of a lemon pith.
Yeah,
so it's like the lemon rind of it.
It doesn't have the sourness of lemon, but you're right. It has that there. You're bang on with the taste of a Swedish berry. And yeah, and on the nose, it sounds like picking raspberries in a raspberry bush. That's what it smells like. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and absolutely. We've, this is another one that we really don't want set to a certain calendar date. We did quite a bit of this product in the summertime, and it's moving quite well even in the winter. People don't really gravitate not everybody gravitates towards dark beers in the winter and light beers in the summertime. It's kind of user preference and what works for them. And I tend to go towards lighter beers throughout the calendar year. I don't mind a red beer or a porter in the wintertime, but it's all depends on how you're feeling that day.
It's a really clean finish to it. Like some raspberries that I've had, that raspberry can kind of hold on to the tongue a little bit after you've swallowed. This is just a really, really nice finish to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you suggest follows that one then, Aaron?
What's that?
What would you suggest would follow that between the two we have and the ghost pepper? And
let's go with the nitro stout. Now, did you guys get did the tasting notes get it to you guys, or did those get soaked and thrown away as well?
They're soaked, but I've cleaned them off. They're a little sticky.
Yeah. So with the nitro stout, when you do pour you're going to have to pour the nitro stout into a glass, and you're going to pour it hard and upside down.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, like the Guinness type of. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We don't want to say that word because we're not trying to replicate that.
Oh no, okay, I understand. So we're going to need. Okay, thank you, Will. That's good.
So what you're going to do is when you open it, pour it hard and upside down into a glass, and you're going to get a nice cascade effect like you would.
Yeah.
One of those other beers.
I like doing that. It's a fun way to pour a beer. I'll say because I drink a lot of that at home. I'm a big G fan, shall we call it? So I kind of keep a few tins at home the odd time when I'm feeling it. But it's nice to kind of. It's a nice. I don't know. Drinking beer is more than just cracking a can and chugging it back. But there's the visual, there's the smell, there's all the senses, and watching that kind of, as you mentioned, cascade up. It's a real treat.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to pour it hard and with a purpose. So when you pour it hard with a purpose, what it's going to do, it's going to infuse those nitrogen molecules, if you would say, into that beer. Nitrogen is a smaller, more profuse bubble than carbon dioxide, and so what it's going to do, in effect, it's going to leave a nice cascade and with a nice creamy white head to it.
Yeah.
Just like you would with a Guinness, I guess.
Yeah.
And then pouring it like that is just like you would when you get it into on a bar with an affixed nitrogen tap handle to it. So it infuses those nitrogen molecules into that beer and leaves it nice and creamy and smooth and just delicious.
God, that looks
My
good.
goodness. You need to call up the Flames. They could use your coaching. You coached a perfect pour out of me.
Yeah,
I'm a
thank you.
schmuck. I'm an absolute schmuck. Wow. Okay,
so give it a taste, and like the flavors on this one is definitely roasted coffees, chocolate, dark chocolates, caramel. If you're a coffee fan, this is definitely one for you.
Baby.
It's very light. It's not heavy like a typical stout would be, but it's dark. Like this is on the SRM scale, which is a standard reference method for color. There's no light shining through that one. It is flat.
Yeah. You can't get nothing through there. I got the nice mustache. The head on it is superb and nice and creamy. That's
fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Trev, you want to get in on this one? Get that.
Yeah, we've
like not to name other names, but there's a reason they call the other stuff steak in a can.
Sure,
because it kind of
name the names. Yeah,
it kind of comes with a real weight to it. That does not have that like.
Yeah, it's very light,
full of dough sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the kitchen here, the kitchen manager actually uses that stout to make our gravy for our poutines.
Oh my goodness, that
so
was
you
so
can
good.
definitely cook with that one.
Oh my God!
Should have sent a poutine as well.
That's delicious. Congratulations,
guys! It would have been frozen.
I know what I'll be switching to. I think now in terms of this style of beer. But let's get into the. You've already cracked it a bit there, but this is what I'm looking forward to as well. A little spice here with this ghost pepper.
So the ghost pepper Hefeweizen, it won the 2022 Alberta Beer Award, and it also won the gold at the Canada Beer Cup that year as well. Under the experimental beer category. It actually has ghost peppers in it. It is the number one question asked at beer fests, liquor stores, store tastings, in-house.
imitation.
Yes,
Yeah.
it actually has ghost peppers in it.
I can 100% attest to that, because once you cut those things up, the whole brew house is just ghost pepper dust everywhere.
How many times have you accidentally rubbed your eyes after dealing with that?
I have not yet done that, and you make sure you wash your hands really good before you go to the bathroom.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah.
The bathroom is the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a mistake. Oh my God.
That's a hot one there.
So when you initially try this ghost pepper beer, you definitely have the flavors and aromas of a typical Hefeweizen.
Yeah,
you have the banana, the cloves, the citrus, the peppery taste to it. The heat doesn't really hit until the back end, and it's not like a burning your face off. It's more of a light tingle, and it's like, oh, there's the heat. You don't get the vegetable-y flavor from the ghost pepper. You just get the heat.
Well, you've already tucked in here. Cheers to you, Will, and thank you for filling in for Dusty this morning. And cheers to you, Aaron, and the staff there as well.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, you give me a cheese pizza with this, and I am content. Like, it would pair perfectly with anything.
Yeah, they do very well with nachos.
Yeah.
Very well with nachos, with a
Yeah,
burger. Anything, I wouldn't say light, but anything heavy, because this is quite a light beer as it is.
Yeah. Anything with a little bit of oil to it that you need to cut through, like this is, I could drink that all day.
Yeah, a little bit, and then at the end, again, in the back of your throat, you get that. But nothing
But
too.
not enough to scare you away.
No, but again, a nice piece of cheese pizza. You guys do have a very large food menu at your brewery. Anything new you'd like to kind of discuss or promote for our listeners down in Calgary who want to check you out?
Yeah, so we've had this the kitchen for just over a year. I think we got it in October of 2023, and it's moved from small little plates. Initially we just had cheese and charcuterie and pretzel dogs and pretzels in the brewery here, and we have a new chef here that does quite well. She has a really good team. We have everything from burgers to sandwiches to phenomenal pizzas, and probably the best pizzas I've had. We have a Hawaiian heat pizza that is just phenomenal. All thin crust, typically coming anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes in the slower period. Obviously, with a small kitchen, when we are packed, the time obviously extends a little bit, but just a great light menu. You can come down just before you go home and go to work, or go home and have a light snack before dinner, or come down and just enjoy dinner down here. It's a great atmosphere, a great room, fantastic staff, and the food is phenomenal. We're changing the pizzas every month. We have a feature pizza every month. This month is the Tuscan chicken pizza. All do very well with our beers, and she worked with our brew team to figure out what pairs well with our products.
Well, you guys do great work, and again, unfortunately, and apologies that we couldn't actually have the taste of that Japanese-inspired Shogun Red Ale. But again, that is the beer of the week this week, friends. 4-pack, $11.99, Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. You're saving $5. And again, with the sweet potato, I mean, I'm curious, and I'll take your word on the tastiness based off the 3 you've had today. Outstanding stuff, Aaron. We really appreciate your time. We would say good luck, Flames, but we wouldn't mean it, so we won't. So have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Be strong. Keep it that way.
Take care, boys.
Thanks, guys. Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, Aaron Wires, sales manager for Yard Brewing, once again out of Calgary. RailYardBrewing.ca, great website. You can learn a lot about them there. Great looking cans, great art, very eye catching, and the beer. Nice to go around the block, even though we just had 3 and not that sweet potato red.
It really is a nice, it's a nice product. Great descriptions on the can.
Yeah.
Clearly labeled ingredients.
User friendly, shall we say.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So
this ghost pepper, though, man.
That little burn, it's really nice.
If you have not gotten into craft beers and you're like, I like beer because I like to drink beer, this is a really good sort of beer can be something that you match as part of a meal.
And all 3 of these have a very, very unique profile and fitting with food or whatever. But you know the drill. $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor right now. Text Beer Me to the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Beer Me. 780-218-9999. We'll put you all into a hat and pick somebody. You'll be $50 richer, and you can go and sample these tasty Yard Brewing beers today. 8:52 is the Nielsen Show. Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen this morning. He's away in High River for a hockey tournament. We'll get to the Marmot Basin Snow Report right now. If Trev, you got a musical bed you'd like to... you're the wizard here. You can craft it up as you see fit. Well, you can play a different one if you want. You can spice it up. I mean, the cuffs are off now. The rules are
whatever sounds like it.
I actually haven't
play something. Yeah, get a little creative.
I'm just trying to find.
No, take your time. It's fine.
Okay, well,
we'll have the wrap coming up for William Huff as well. Text of the day will be awarded.
I think I just gotta. What's this? It's short.
Well, that's not bad though. Okay. You can kind of start it again if you want. I mean, that's.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, this is your Marmot Basin Snow Report. Brian with the email this morning. Brian Road, vice president up there. Pretty much the same report as yesterday, he says. 6 at 7 a.m. with a forecast high of -4. Skies are a mix of sun and clouds. 16 runs groomed overnight. All lifts operating. The snowpack will 70 centimeters with 7 centimeters of new snow over the past week. You can get to Jasper now for the last weekend of the Jasper in January Festival. Lots going on, including retro days at Marmot Basin, the street party starting at 6, followed by fireworks. Enjoy your day, gents. Thank you very much, Brian. Get up there. I know you've been up there repeatedly. And they need you now.
And this weekend, such a good party and such a good pub crawl.
The beginning of Jasper January, the middle of it, but the end.
Oh man, ski your guts out. Get a couple of pints, or actually get a pitcher at the Mid Chalet, or 2 or 5. Enjoy your day, but then that pub crawl, like a little dead dog, a little at the bee, little whistle stop,
yes,
and then it kills me to do this because I don't want to let you in on what we locals, because I consider myself a local. I don't want to.
You're not talking about lodging here, are you?
No.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm not going to ruin that.
Okay,
no.
thank you.
I'm glad you stopped me though.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
But check out the Legion. There's a real good chance there's a live band there.
I've been there for
weekend.
a show. It's great,
and it's they got darts in the back. like literal, like old school row of dartboards. $5 bill gets you the darts at the bar.
180.
And they give you the $5 back if you bring the darts back. Like it's like, oh man. And they got foosball. Like,
you heard it there, folks.
And they got craft on tap.
Will sets his boots in the town site, and he knows
that's a good foursome right there. Let alone and there's other good little spots I mean, restaurants. Evil Dave. If you've never had the Holy Cow at Evil Dave's, do yourself a favor.
I don't even mind going to the museum sometimes.
Museum, good call.
It's a kitschy little place.
But it's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
After a couple of pictures.
Yeah.
You know?
And this isn't even including like a Pyramid Lake Resort or a Jasper Park
that's
Lodge,
its own stuff.
which are their own wonderful thing. I'm just talking about in town proper. Start your day or your evening at Whistle Stop. They still do like a captain's special. Like remember how they still have one of those, a sampler platter.
At the Athabee, I watched the $1 Million Game with all the temporary workers at 2 a.m.
Fantastic.
Someplace else, somewhere else, some other else, or
something else.
Something else.
Something else. Fantastic. They do
everything.
They do a flaming cheese.
The raclette or whatever.
Which is so good. Yeah. Can't go wrong.
My wife and I we're going to get up there again soon. I just got to find the dates. But you heard it from Will. Get up there, enjoy the final weekend of Jasper in January.
This weekend is
Hill's great.
Unreal.
Yeah. That's where the party is. That's your Marmot Basin Snow Report. Let's get into the wrap right now for William Huff as well. If you want your place looking as good as ours always does, head to William Huff. In business since 1952. So you know they're incredible at what they do. WilliamHuff.com. Boys, what did we learn today? Well, we did learn some breaking news throughout the morning here. Pete Carroll, Mr. Peanut, will be patrolling the sidelines again. Guess who?
Tell me.
The Raiders.
It's a good hire. That's actually, you know what?
Shefty had it 25 minutes ago. Carroll and the Raiders now reached an agreement on a 3-year deal with a 4th-year team option.
Listen, Pete Carroll is not the most brilliant play caller, but when it comes to team culture, I don't know if there's anyone who does it better.
And who needs a team culture? Who has needed a team culture reset for years and years and years?
Yeah.
Raider Jesse, where are you?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's a solid hire.
Could this be the dawning of a new day? 3rd with a 4th-year option.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he's still got the bones in him.
Yeah.
That meme or gif of him patrolling the sidelines and you put the Mr. Peanut hat and the monocle on him.
Listen, you can only do...
He's an attitude, baby.
You can only do public speaking gigs to millionaires for so long before it like drains you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my guess with Pete Carroll. Like he's been telling people who were born on third base how to succeed in life long enough that he needs to actually do some coaching.
You can't take the dog out of him until he's... You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
He's
The
dog will be running in him until his last breath. It's good to see him back. Pete Carroll, your Las Vegas Raiders head coach, 3-year deal, 4th-year team option. Interesting stuff from the world of the NFL.
How old is he? Like 95? How old is Pete Carroll?
You'd never guess. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
you wouldn't.
No,
when you see him on the sidelines chomping on
years.
gum. Yeah, like
okay.
Yeah, like
we've seen older people do it.
You think he's 61, but he's much older.
Yeah. So that's kind of from the sporting world and breaking news this morning. Once again, the hangout coming up next 9 to 11. I know Chris G is in. He won a recent trip. Yeah, the Godfather's in the house, so I don't know if he'll be hanging out as well. Jason Milne, Glue Guy, bringing in coffees for everybody. So good hangout 9 to 11.
I think the running thing's going well because he's his back is facing us, looking tight back there.
Godfather?
No, Jason the Glue Guy. Look at him.
Man.
He's tightening things up.
You wanted answers on that running experiment.
Yeah.
You've been running, haven't you? Yeah. Let's go to text of the day as well. $20 to A&W on the line today. Once again, you can get that outstanding deal on the bacon and or sausage and egg. You can get 2 bacons, 2 sausage, or mix it up a bit. Have a bacon, have a sausage. 2 for $6 as well right now. Text of the day. I mean, we were talking about the Edmonton Prospects and that new team name. Edmontonian in Ontario.
Okay.
Look, we can't send you the A&W, and it's only good out here. But if you win text of the day, you do go into the text of the year category where you could win an Esty.
Right.
If the Jacked Rabbits hit a walk-off home run, can we please call it a jack-off?
Which is a Jack Donaghy line from 30 Rock. Love it.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you win text of the day. Again, Edmontarian in Ontario. Maybe you come out here. If you do come out here on a trip or to visit somebody or you're just business or pleasure, swing by and pick up that AWGC, but you win text of the day. Great program. I really have to watch that over again. We're also watching some Guy Ritchie films this weekend as well, Trev. You've seen Snatch. You'll probably want to see it again. But either Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Rock and Rolla.
Or The Gentleman.
One of the two, or The Gentleman. Now, there's a movie and a series.
Just the movie.
Just the movie.
Just the movie. Or the Layer Cake. Because I actually think...
Layer Cake, Trev.
I actually think Layer Cake is
Daniel Craig.
is a better
great.
Snatch to Layer Cake.
Is Idris Elba in there too? No? Somebody.
No. But Call Meany is.
What are we watching tonight, boys? What do we got on the go here? NHL. I mean, the Oilers tomorrow, a busy day tomorrow. Hello Hockey with Belsy and Tom. That'll go into the GCL Diesel pre and post. Oilers Sabres tomorrow afternoon. You and I will be dining tonight.
I'm watching your beautiful eyes. That's what I'm watching.
I'm going to show up with quite a buzz on. It's going to be awesome. My wife will be driving. It's going to be. I can't wait. This is going to be great. Don't get out to the Grove too much.
Yeah, I think my wife might be taking the same role as you because I'm driving.
Oh, perfect.
So,
yeah. Well, you and Danny will have a nice chat. It's great.
Yeah, we'll share our club sodas and
Sure, that's okay. Taking a look at the NHL schedule for tonight and doing a little out-of-town scoreboard watching as well. I mean, Jets host Utah. Vegas are in Dallas. So that'll be kind of your premier matchup. And Trev will be educating himself on those Guy Ritchie films, I'm sure, throughout the weekend.
Rock and Rolla. Watching Rock and Rolla.
Rock and Rolla.
Man.
That's a left turn coming out of Snatch. Good left turn.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
For YouTube, Trev, for Will Fraser, who I'll see later tonight, thank you very much for stepping in. Dustin Nielsen, good luck to you and the Nielsen family in High River for your hockey tournament. He'll be back Monday, recapping the weekend it was for the Oilers, setting up the Oilers and Kraken, and of course, Championship Sunday in the NFL. I'm Lieutenant Eric. This has been the Nielsen Show presented by Southford Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot on your clear choice for Edmonton sports, edmontonsportstalk.com.